This is the GPL Podcast from GopherPuckLive.com. This podcast is sponsored by Jerry Peters and First Class Mortgage. Our expertise, your peace of mind. Visit us at firstclassmortgage.com. Now let's start the show with your hosts, Jupiter and Vigo. Good evening and welcome to the GPL Podcast, episode number 200. Vigs! Quite the milestone. We made it to 200, man.
Yeah, 200. Nice work, huh?
There he is. This is our 11th season, 200 episodes. We've had a lot of guests, a lot of fun out of all these years, even though our team hasn't, it's been a little roller coaster on the team, but it's been fun, hasn't it? Uh-oh, we're getting quite a delay there, Viggs.
Episode 200, we're going crazy. I'm going to have to change my setup.
And that's okay, because that allows me to bring in our guest.
Introduce our co-host there.
Well, yeah, we're going to bring him in, and we're going to bring him Cappy, Paul Caponigri. How you doing, man?
Good. How you doing?
Oh, we're doing great.
I can't believe here for the 200th. I feel so honored.
Well, it just kind of ran into OSU week.
I know. I'm kind of teasing that along with it.
Yeah. Well, Viggs is having issues. We'll get him solved there. He's obviously got a little audio delay.
Every time I come on, I think there's a little with him. I think I'm the mush.
But that's okay, man. That's okay. So you've always been our OSU guy. You've always, you've been doing some Big Ten stuff for a while here. But recently you've been dabbling in some radio, haven't you? Tell us about it, Cappy.
Yeah, I've gotten out kind of way to get into the NHL a little bit with the Blackhawks. I've been doing their little bit of color for the radio, WGN in Chicago. It's been great. I mean, that was my team growing up, so it's kind of to get in somehow with them has been fun, and it's great because I get to do both right now. I'm like doing the NHL a little, and then the Big Ten will start in December for me. So it's kind of I love doing it. So give me more, give me all of it. So just kind of playing it by ear. It's been a lot of fun, and now I'm like watching guys that were some Big Ten guys now that are playing in the NHL. So it's pretty cool that way too.
Well, it's got to be a great opportunity because it's kind of a tryout, isn't it? I mean, the situation with the Chicago radio color, not ideal right now, but it's turns out to be quite a bit of an opportunity for you.
Yeah, I think you just, I wasn't an NHL guy. I didn't play in the NHL, so it's hard to break in there when you didn't do that. But if you can get in there and people look at you like if you're doing a good job, then that kind of gets forgotten, or you hope it does. Or, it doesn't have to be. Not all the players means just because you played whatever level, you're going to be that good of a broadcaster. The guy I always think of is Billy Jaffe. He's a guy that, played at Michigan, but, barely didn't even play a ton at Michigan, to be honest. And look at him now. He does NHL Network. He does all that kind of stuff. And I think he's one of the best in the business. So, you just kind of take it as it comes and you prepare to, hopefully you're doing a good job. That's all you can do. And then if they like you or if someone else likes you, you go with it. So that's kind of how I look at it.
And of course, another issue with the broadcast, Facebook's not streaming right now. Sorry, Facebook people.
Oh,
that's 200. You think we have this stuff figured out, right?
Well, this one's not me this time. It's just StreamYard this time. For some reason, it's just not working.
Telling you, I think I'm bad.
Maybe you're bad
influence on the show. I don't know.
Thank you for joining us, Cappy.
Hey, you had your 5 minutes. You're good now.
No, and it didn't also tweet out our live feed, so all kinds of things going wrong. Vigo and his audio, and some things not tweeting out, but everyone on YouTube seems to be seeing us. Knock on wood, so that's good.
I think Vigo's hair is getting in the way, maybe.
It's probably some interference there.
Strands are going in.
I know. That's only half the flow. I've seen Vigo with flow at least down to here, right, Viggs?
Yeah, I'm keeping it very restrained right now.
Whoa. Whew. Okay.
I remember
Looks
him at a
good.
Final Five. It was long.
Yeah.
It was long.
I can let it flow out the bucket.
Well,
Oh, you like
Viggs,
that little curls coming out.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yep. Let them know who you are.
it's cute.
Don't
like
even
it.
need to see the jersey. They can just, tell.
Viggs, they went into Madison and they made Mizoko mad again.
Well, I think that's kind of been a trend with this entire program for the last, 2.5, 3 years now, where we're seeing a lot of the same mistakes by a lot of the same players. And, I thought last year he got through to them. And they had it kind of figured out, and they figured out how to finish their Big Ten season and play pretty well. They started last season playing really well. And then again, that Minnesota State game, it all comes back. We start to see some of the same things creep up in their game where, players are turning the puck over at the blue line, or they're not being safe with the puck in dangerous situations in their own end, or when they are in their own end, they're just waiting to go on offense and start some stretch passes. So I think that kind of caught up to them in the Wisconsin game. The Badgers got a little bit of energy, and then it gets into 3 OT, and, that's kind of a crapshoot.
But I was at the bar, Viggs, and it never fails. I'm like, I literally yelled at the screen. If he misses his play, it's over. Lacombe kind of missed the play at the blue line, didn't even slow him down, right around. And one thing you notice, Viggs, how often do you see a slap shot like that in overtime from 20, 30 feet out?
Yeah, you know what that means? Tired legs. You don't see space like that on the rush unless players are tired. And that's kind of what happens in OT, especially with these college players who aren't as experienced with it. I think you see it now in the NHL. Players know how to handle the shift length. That's almost as important as possession in the overtime. In the college game, the excitement of playing 3-on-3 OT in front of fans, just kind of gets you, and you might be out there a little bit too long, and then you get that space, and the big slapper from the Badgers gets the extra points.
Oh boy, Cappy, what do you do? I mean, one of the tweets I see, or actually a comment, Lacombe is a mess. he's the funny thing is he plays pretty solid, but then all of a sudden out of nowhere, just kind of a bonehead play, and boy, that can happen to anybody.
He was the one guy that honestly I was thinking about and talking about tonight in a not in a negative way, but like saying, wait, what happened? Kind of, I'm just not seeing as confident a guy maybe, or, I'm looking at his numbers. He's got maybe 2 assists and he's on the power play and he's doing all that stuff. And he, I don't know. Is it something in his head now or something maybe at this point? But he doesn't look as free. Like he came in, he was a pretty confident guy. Like as an 18-year-old, I think he's probably 18 or maybe 19 as a freshman. He came in and just he looked like he was a junior. Like he didn't care. He could skate. He would get up in the play. He would make those passes. And maybe it's got to be something in between the ears. You've seen that before. But he's the one guy that I'm like, what happened? Or I know what happened, but he doesn't look right. Maybe that's what it is. I don't, I'm not trying to, he's a college athlete. I'm not trying to say he's terrible. He's clearly not, but he just doesn't look as decisive in everything he does. Maybe something happened earlier in the year and he's like, ooh, I might. And to look at his ice time might be down a little since they've got some pretty good other defensemen on the roster. So I don't know, to be honest. He's the one guy that I kind of was like, where are we with him?
Viggs, the one thing I have noticed is that these, occasional mistakes by Lacombe tend to be not next to the net. They tend to be a little further out, on the defensive line. He's trying to stop a puck and it gets past him, or on someone just coming in the zone there. He just wasn't quite ready for it. Player goes around him, tired legs, whatever. I notice it's not really as much when he's protecting the net right out in front.
Yeah, and I think part of this situation with Lacombe is he doesn't have a lot of games under his belt as a defenseman. He's a player who grew up a forward, transitioned to defense, didn't really play juniors. He came right into college as a young player, and so he's going through all these growing pains at the Big Ten college level. There's not a lot of easy games, a lot of reps to get your feet wet. And when you're a team like Minnesota, you have possession of the puck a fair amount of the time. I think, the shots were like 85 to 50 in attempts for the Wisconsin game, So Minnesota's got the puck. So I think where you're seeing those mistakes are at those kind of 50-50 decision points where you have to be in your mind saying, okay, if this is a 75-25 play, I'm going to be aggressive and make it and take all the chips. Mm-hmm. But when there are these 50-50 things, it's just you got to bail, you got to extend the play, and you got to play it safe. And I think Minnesota's defense at the start of the year, they're thinking, okay, last year I had 25 points. This year I want 35 or 40. How am I going to get there? Be more aggressive, be more assertive. And sometimes that's not really the right play. Bob has talked about how lately, I think the last weekend, a defenseman had points on 5 of the 7 goals. Those weren't flashy plays. Those are just the defenseman playing within the system, getting the puck to the forwards in transition, getting in the zone and supporting the play. They're not wow plays, but that's how you can be productive.
Hey, but there's nothing better than getting – hold on. Sorry. There's nothing better than getting an assist from your own zone. Let me tell you, even as a forward, like that chip off a wall, like you chip it out, they're deep pinches, you chip it out and they get a 2-on-1 and they go down and score. You still get an assist. And you did it way back. You're almost a forgotten guy. Same thing for the D. You can create and get your points that way too. I think you're right, though. I mean, it gets in your head, okay, I did this much. I got to do this next year. I'm like, that doesn't have to be the case. But that's how some guys, the expectations. When he came in as a freshman, he just went.
And there's a player who's got the right mindset for that, Brock Faber. Even at the start of the year, he's like, I know points are going to come, but that's not the focus of my game. I understand my game. It's gaps. It's making the quick first short pass. It's staying with the play. It's playing a tight gap. It's shutting down rushes. Brock Faber knows his game. He's played D a long time at high levels, high coaching. Guy like Jackson Lacombe, probably not the same. Even a guy like Ryan Johnson, maybe not the same kind of development. He did play in the USHL, but is not like a veteran USHL player. So there's a little bit of a difference there.
Well, Vigs, as usual, they kind of rebounded again. Played great the second game after maybe watching some video and getting yelled at a bit, but they at least did get, I should say 4 out of 6 points on the weekend, not a traditional split, but at least that's a positive.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a positive for this team. They do respond well to a stern film session, and that's always good. Sometimes you have players who don't learn the lesson the next night, and that's a real problem. And this is a banged up team. Bob's talked about it at a lot of media availabilities. He's like, this team's got a tough underbelly. They're playing through stuff where they're hurt, they're not injured. You can play through something where you're hurting a little bit, but if you're injured and it's going to impact, maybe your long-term play, you don't want to play through it. He's got guys who say, you know what, I'm ready to take the ice. This isn't a big deal. It might just hurt a little bit.
Yeah. Well, we've got a lot coming tonight. So we're going to kind of get through and get to some talking about this weekend. Cappy, Ohio State coming in. They just sweep Penn State. Pretty darn good start for them this season. Tell us what you know.
Well, I mean, they did get picked by all those smart coaches to be last in the Big Ten. Mm-hmm. I think the biggest thing, well, not the biggest, there's 2 factors that, make them a surprise right now. Is they have a couple freshmen guys that I think they were hoping to be what they are, and they're actually doing it right now. Mm-hmm. And then they have like 3 or 4 transfers, at least 2 or 3. And then they have a kid that came over from Russia that was kind of a surprise addition, and it's made their forward core. There's no like star guy, and it's, I think, the way Ohio State likes it, but they have they've more depth now. Like they were, you look at their lineup last year, they're struggling to get one line out there that could be a consistent offensive threat. And now they just have a little more. And the goaltender's obviously been, if you look at his numbers alone, you're like, whoa, ridiculous. And then this freshman, Mason Lorai, is, I was like, okay, I didn't see him play before, but he was the USHL Defenseman of the Year. So I'm thinking he's got to be pretty good. And then I look back at his numbers. He had 20 goals and 40 assists as a defenseman in that league. I mean, you don't see that very often. and he's
really
6'4".
good.
To add into that,
Yeah.
he's 6'4". So you just like Ohio State hasn't gotten those kind of recruits a lot lately. If you think about it, I mean, you have to almost go back to when I was playing, and we had Kessler, Umberger, and Steckel. We had first round draft picks. The Buckeyes haven't had many of those guys. So to get a couple guys like they have right now, they're draft picks that are kind of doing things right out of the chute. I think that's kind of been, a good surprise for them.
Viggs, OSU is not going to finish in last place. Nice. I don't think they will.
Well, I don't think so. The big surprise is the goalie. Somebody tried to bring that up with Bob this week, and Bob's like, hey, I don't want to talk about the goalie, but that Mason kid, he is really a shining star for them. I think Bob is like, that was a player that got away a little bit from them. He is making a huge impact. But I think when you have players who step in as freshmen and can fill those roles for you as a coach, it's got to just bring a warm smile to your face and just keep you happy about the season, because they needed that. I mean, they were picked last for a reason. They didn't have a lot of returning stuff. They had some glue to their team, but they didn't have players like they have in their freshman class right now.
But Viggs, I've always liked the matchups of Ohio State. It's always kind of that in between. Kind of sometimes it's fast paced, sometimes it's locked down. You never know what you're going to get. And with this Gover team, you never know what you're going to get. I mean, they come out every weekend, and even if they win, Motzko's not happy. It's just always a Friday, Saturday thing that we've seen a lot in the past. What can we expect this weekend?
Well, I think if you're watching Minnesota, you're looking for that progression. You're looking for them to learn the lessons that they've had to learn. Coming back in the D zone, the number one key for them is to come back to the house, protect the net, keep the puck to the outside, and then extinguish the rush. And I think the defensemen have been doing a pretty good job of that, and certain forward lines have been doing a good job of that, but not all the lines. Bob has been pretty critical of Sammy Walker in the media, which is pretty rare for a three-time captain, that he needs to take that more seriously in his game for him to reach the next level. I mean, we saw some nice goals from him against Wisconsin, scoring from his knees, scoring one, driving through the net.
Thank God he's okay.
I know.
He
must be that
when I
wiry.
saw that.
Yeah.
That was a dangerous play.
Quite a few of his goals have been those dirty goals, though, recently, Viggs, and that's exactly what we need from him.
Yeah, when he gets in transition, he is probably one of the most dangerous players in the Big Ten. So I think Ohio State's going to know that, and they are not going to let him get those opportunities. So for Walker, he's got to take his game to the next level. And when he realizes that's happening, he's got to change his game a little bit. He can't just be looking for offense, leaving the zone early, not playing below the dots. He's got to be honest to that point of the game. And then when he does get his chances, he's got to go. And if it's not there, he's got to play possession and smart hockey. I think the other big thing with Minnesota is missing the net, shooting into shin pads. Some of that is the other team forcing you to, have to wait and shoot maybe from a different spot. But it's also on the shooter to be more productive by putting pucks on pads and looking for rebounds. So if we can see Minnesota take that next step in their game, that's hopeful. But against Ohio State, they're not going to make it easy for you. Steve Rolick does a great job with his team's prepping structure, and he knows what kind of games he has coming up this weekend with his team.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. Oh, I always love these games. The games are different times this weekend, folks. This accommodates for TV. 6:30 Friday night and 5 o'clock on Saturday. Personally, Viggs, I love those early Saturday games. More time drinking at the bar afterwards.
It's become, I think, a trend in college hockey everywhere. They're playing that like earlier afternoon. Sometimes it's TV thing, sometimes it's a football thing. I know it is for Ohio State. They did it last week or the week before. They bumped up a game because the night game was football, so they wanted to get it in before that. But I think it's good for. You want to be seen as much as possible. Like
Definitely.
Hockey's always battling that, whether it's football in the fall or basketball in the, in the winter. Find the times. I was a big proponent of getting more games on Thursdays and Sundays because, more eyes. Look what happened to the tournament last year. Playing it, yes, not ideal. Obviously, there's no fans, so who cares that it's on a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, but it was one of the highest watched tournament. Monday and Tuesday was. And
it was.
That's my thing. I get it. The schools and the teams want their, regular, week that it's always been. The coaches, I know, like that. But you want to grow the game popularity wise, I think, I got to look outside the box. Anyway, I'm kind of going off on a different tangent, but
it's okay. Well, hold the thought. We're going to get back to the series in a bit here, but first, we need to hear from our a sponsor, and then we've got some special guests coming on. So hold on.
Hey, Gopher hockey fans! Jerry Peters here with First Class Mortgage. With Veterans Day just around the corner, I want to take this time to express my gratitude to our military veterans and the families who support them. The VA loan program offers some of the best mortgage terms on the market today. Veterans can purchase homes with zero down payment and no monthly mortgage insurance. If you're a veteran who already has a VA loan, you may be eligible for a streamlined refinance to reduce your interest rate with limited documentation and no appraisal needed. Veterans can also use the equity in their homes to consolidate high interest rate credit cards or to finance home improvement projects. To hear more, call or text me today at 612-940-3291 or send me an email at jerry@firstclasscorp.com. First Class Mortgage's NMLS number is 322842, mine is 480200. This is not an offer to lock into an interest rate under Minnesota law. First Class Mortgage is an equal housing lender.
And of course, thank you, Jerry, for that. Well, we've got some special guests coming on tonight, and shocking, his video doesn't work, but it's funny. We're going to add in Hammy real quick. Can you hear Hammy? Are you there, Hammy? Look at, he's all dark. Can you hear us, Hammy?
Yes, I have no lights on. My camera is working. It just I warned you. I warned you earlier today that
he
I didn't know if it was gonna work. My IT department needs to fix this crap, but whatever.
Yeah, well, but it's not only Hammy who's coming on with us. Ryan Cardinal, how's it going, man?
Good. How are you?
Hammy, Cardinal, both of you were here back in episode number 1 of the GPL podcast. Boy, 11 seasons later, episode number 200. It's great to have you both on.
It's good to be back on.
Hammy, what do you think of the current team?
What are you trying to get me on an old school rant?
Yeah, that would be great. Let's get a rant going.
No, we over the years we've seen teams that have started off great. We've seen teams that have started off sluggish. I think the only thing you really don't want to have happen early in the year is to play so poorly that you're scrambling just to make the big dance at the end. So I think they've played some good competition. They've had some moments where they've been all right. They've had some moments where they haven't been all right. I think it gives the coaches something to continually work on and hopefully strive for as the season goes on. And hopefully you can peak by the time you get to that March, April timeframe, working on those issues. So we'll see how it goes.
In Cardinal, are you still feeding PA college hockey information?
I do it when I can. I know he's usually like the first half of the year when Viking season's going, he's got a little bit less of a focus on college hockey. But once that wraps up, then he'll kind of turn the page a little bit, and hopefully the Gophers will be in the thick of it. You can talk about those guys a lot as the kind of the second half wears on.
Mm-hmm. Are you still working for the Vikings there?
I am. Yes, sir.
Wow. Still a good gig, huh?
You work right by me because I'm literally 2 blocks from that facility.
Really? All right. Well, noted.
Yep. You might run into me at the Caribou over there right off of Dodd once in a while.
I frequent it a decent amount. I know right what you're talking about.
Yep.
So it's great to have you two on. I appreciate you two being part of the podcast over the years. And then Cardinal, well, you went to start to work for the Vikings, had a family. You got kind of busy. So then Viggs came on. Viggs, do you remember when you came on? Was it season 2 or 3?
It was some point in there.
Yeah.
Pitch hitting
from your Honda?
Time to time. From the Civic in my parking lot outside my condo. Yep. Because I had a newborn at that time. So that would have been about 9 years ago.
Yeah, we've had a lot of fun on the podcast, folks. And then These guys have put a lot of time into it, and we've appreciated it a lot having you guys be part of this. 200 episodes. We've had a lot of guests. We've had a lot of fun. Hammy, I see that a lot of players signed national letters of intent today. Can you give us a full scoop on every single one of them? Like about 10 minutes on each?
Oh, God. That's well covered now. I mean, if you think about it, back in the 90s, that's really what I was focused on, because that was the niche that was not being filled back then, because college basketball, college football, they had all the recruiting information in the world, but college hockey didn't have that, especially in Minnesota. I mean, what would you see? Maybe a handful of names during a state tournament, being listed on a TV screen, or maybe an occasional word from old Sid Hartman, probably pilfering it from somebody else. But, so that I used to go to the model camps and the selects in St. Cloud and, all that stuff. And that was really the niche I felt like I could fill. And I got to be good friends with some of the Gopher coaches over the years and other coaches around the area. And so, but yeah, I've kind of hung up my skates, so to speak, on that stuff. I still follow things, of course, but yeah, I don't really spend the time and energy on that stuff.
And of course, Brenthoven, the mysterious Hammy, like Tim Allen's neighbor, except mysteriouser, because we never get to see that. We're never. I mean, your picture's on your profile, but still.
Yeah, I told you. Yeah, at least I have a picture on my Twitter, so it's not like I'm happy.
It's not like you have a car on there or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Cardinal, what's your future?
That's a vague question.
I did it on purpose.
I'm just trying to make it through the night and wake up tomorrow. I got to, again, it's like a coach speak, right? You can't look too far down the road. I'm taking it one day at a time. So,
did you go to Madison?
No, I did not. Between work and kid hockey stuff, that conflicted, but was in St. Cloud and was in Duluth. So I was happy to, obviously, kind of a tale of two nights there, but at least got to see one fun win. And yeah, so those were enjoyable. Short trips, but good ones.
I didn't get a chance to go anywhere this year. I feel sad.
It's not too late. There's lots of trips left.
Cardinal, did you bring the boy to both of the games, whole family? What was the...
St. Cloud he was with, so yeah, he got to have some fun there, and then he had practice, so he was left behind for the Duluth one. A little bit easier to get to St. Cloud and back in a night versus Duluth. So, but Fire Helmet guy was with for both. So yeah, it was a good time.
How's he doing?
He's doing good. Kind of same old with him, but
oh boy.
He's still lurking on the board, and
but does the helmet still exist? It almost was lost. Does it still exist?
I mean, the helmet that thing needs to end up at Mariucci at some point along the way, because it was in Lake Superior. It got rescued the next fall. Someone fished it out and got it back, and he picked it up the next fall. So, yeah, that helmet has seen a lot through the years. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I was going to give Cappy update here. We have a fan who's been a fan forever. Fire helmet guy. He was a fireman, has his full helmet. It's all kind of all gophered out. He was really ticked off at a performance up in Duluth a few years ago. He walked across the bridge and he threw it out on the ice, didn't he, Cardinal?
Yeah, it was either on the bridge or right outside the deck where he used to, kind of funnel out to walk across to the sports garden. Yeah, right down there it went out onto the ice, and he thought that was it. And then, again, I don't know the full story, but I know I was with him in the fall, and he got a message from somebody saying, "Hey, someone's got your helmet." And he met up with them like as soon as we got up there and came walking out with the helmet and never missed a beat.
I think we should all just set up, if next time there's a weekend in Duluth, everybody up to Duluth, everyone leave the kids at home. Let's go.
Yeah, I hope there is.
And Hammy's coming with us.
You guys gonna have any skates or what? You gonna have some games like the old Pride on Ice game?
Actually, I was talking to Jared Bird IBM, and he's thinking we need to set one up for next spring, which would be 20 years since we had that first Pride on Ice skate. Try to get a lot of those original guys, Sal, $2 hat and goal, and things like that. Get all those old guys out skating. It doesn't matter if you're a good skater. You're just going to come on and have some fun. I think that would be a blast.
That would be fun.
Those were the days.
I'm up for it.
All right. Well, Hammy Cardinal, I got to thank you guys for tuning in tonight and just celebrating our 200th episode. Thanks for coming on with us.
Yeah,
Well,
thank you for the invite.
I can speak for all Gopher fans, Jupe, that you've done a lot with GPL, the site, and the podcast, and everything that you've done over the years and contributed. I don't know that you get enough credit sometimes. You probably get a lot of grief from people telling you, why haven't you banned this person? That person's an ass, or whatever.
I try to be.
I appreciate everything you did, especially after Pride on Ice kind of stepped away.
Yeah.
That was a beloved board, and you did a good job kind of picking up the pieces on that. So good job.
Well, I appreciate it, Hammy. And so thanks for coming on, guys. We're going to let you go because we've got another guest coming on. So thanks, Hammy and Cardinal.
Take it easy, guys.
All right. Look who we have there. The one and only Frank Mizoko. Our number 2 guest on our second show back 2010. Frank, you are our second. Well, you are our first guest ever, but it was the second show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Hi, Frank. How you doing?
I'm doing fine now. I was starting to get a little irritated because I thought I was numero uno, and I guess I sort of was, but.
Well, you were the first guest, but we just didn't have a guest the first show. And if anybody wants a good laugh, all the podcasts are still available online. Go listen to show number 1. It is bad. I sound like a robot reading off a cue card. It's like I'm reading blah, 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 blah. It was so bad. And we've just learned.
There's a place
Go
for
ahead.
you on Gopher Radio Network. We could use you.
No. So, Frank, how you doing?
Well, good, but I just would like to follow up on what Hammy said.
Yeah.
2 sides of it. One is, where should I start? I'm going to start with the easy part because, no, we don't give you enough credit because it's just, we would just rather poke you.
Well, that's what hockey guys do, give each other grief.
We would just rather give you the grief, yeah. But truly, I was thinking also 200 shows. My goodness, you have poured a lot, not only into your enterprise here, but for what you do for Gopher fans. That's incredible. And
well,
I'm sure
I
you're
appreciate
getting very
it.
rich off of this, but
no, no.
Yeah,
it's just for fun, and it literally it was 10 years ago. Hey, let's just throw together a podcast, and I remember that first time we had you on, we actually did some of it via I think Google. We had because we didn't record video, but we had video so we could kind of see each other. I know you don't remember it.
Now, way beyond me, but so was the Pride on Ice board? I thought that was yours?
That was Matt and Kyle Barron's website.
Well, where did you post the video that got the Fox lawyers in LA all burned? Where did that get posted?
Okay, so Pride on Ice was.
Story?
Yeah, this is just kind of a recap here. It's prideonice.com was a website for all the Gopher fans. And Matt and Kyle Barron, I think it was Matt's project. He was kind of a web developer, and he was learning how to program. So he programmed a message board. And when 2003 came along and they were in the Frozen Four, the message board crashed while they were at the Frozen Four. So I literally put up a temporary message board in order to have the fans a place to go just for the Frozen Four when, Vanek and all that 5-1, all that good stuff happened. I kept the board alive. People kind of use it as a sideboard. And then a couple years later, they just decided they didn't want to do it anymore. So they shut it down. At that same time, I was doing little highlight videos because there was no YouTube at the time. And you wonder, I've got like all those old clips of you or the Wooger, and that's how I got the wheelchair comment was recording your old shows. And I would just post it to my site and people would watch them. Well, your call of Danny Ehrman scoring that penalty shot goal against Wisconsin.
Oh.
Became rather popular because the only place you could see it was on my website. So Fox saw it, didn't like it, sent me a couple letters, take it down. If it would have just made it till, YouTube, maybe it would have survived, but
I resurrected the audio last weekend. Friday was the anniversary of the penalty shot.
Oh, really?
Yeah. 17 years, I think.
The thing is, the people saved that video that I had, and that video is now on YouTube. The original mixing of me putting it together. I don't have it anymore, but the one you could see on the internet is the original one I mixed together. Viggs, you want to say something?
Yeah, that's 17 years since I had my ACL repaired then as well, too. Because I remember I had my ACL repaired about a week or two before that game, and I was in the student section on crutches and painkillers, enjoying that glorious penalty shot opportunity. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Well, as Frank was saying during the record, it's been a long time! I mean, because you didn't see penalty shots very often back then.
No. Well, and then I did the research to find out, I think it was 12 years before that the previous one was. Even an attempt. You had to go back to the old building to get one.
And it was actually, about a year or two, was it about a year or the next year later that Kessel had his first goal was a penalty shot goal.
Right, against Mankato.
Yeah.
Caffey, I got to tell you that those highlight packages that Drew put together, that was a broadcaster's dream. Because when I was getting down in the dumps, I'd go back and listen to the highlight package and say, gee, I think I can do this job. This is pretty damn good. You jam a bunch of goals together, you don't get all the dead air and the mumbles that are throughout the show. So anyway, I might have even downloaded one or two of them. Oh God! Don't tell the lawyers in
No, jeez. With YouTube, I don't think anyone cares anymore. I mean,
probably not.
It's not a huge deal.
Hey, they let writers write stories off of TV.
Mm-hmm. Oh, another great one for Brenthoven. Yeah, we'll tell that story. Growing pains. Tyler Hirsch aftermath. Instant regret. Yeah. Cappy, you've probably seen that video of Tyler Hirsch at the Final Five out there by himself, crashing into the boards after doing his own little penalty shot on his own.
That was sad. That was sad.
It was. You'll have to, and I didn't even realize it at first. I'm like, somebody sent me the video. I'll put this up, and then I'm like, I better not. Took it down. Too late.
Oh.
The next weekend, for the Frozen Four, they were talking about on ESPN, and they showed that clip on ESPN. Thanks to me.
Ouch.
Yeah.
It's like that tweet. Don't send that tweet. Don't hit send.
Yeah. I want to say the video was live for maybe an hour. Somebody was able to save it, and later on it got put out on other video sharing devices at the time because YouTube was around by then. Sorry, Tyler. I actually did apologize to him in person some years ago. So,
well, on a brighter note, what are we going to talk about, Drew?
Well, let's talk about this weekend. I mean, we were talking about a little bit. We've been talking about Mizoko. Hasn't been happy with the game one performances, Frank, and so they really got to get their butts in gear the first game on a weekend now.
Yeah, I didn't think they weren't terrible. They just weren't good. They weren't as good as they can be. I mean, the bar is higher now. Mm-hmm. I got to thinking about whenever it was they had me start picking 3 stars of the game, and I would have like 6 honorable mentions and 3 stars. I mean, I was just picking up all of these scrappy little guys that were just busting their tail, right? Well, now we've got like 3 bona fide stars in the game, and they're pretty much cream of the crop, and above and pretty obvious over everybody else. Anyway, the bar's higher, and he got, 2 weeks ago was the Notre Dame series was the classic. I mean, I thought that team just busted their tails against Notre Dame. Notre Dame is not an easy team to play against. And you don't play free-form hockey against Notre Dame. If you're going to get 6 points, you've worked your tail off. And that's what I kind of thought happened. Well, Bob comes on in the postgame show, and the first thing he does is he goes back to a blown offside in the second period. And a turnover early in the third period. And I'm saying, Bob, you just came away with 6 points. I mean, it's not... He says, I know, that's the coach speaking. And we did some good things well, but no, they need to answer the bell better on Friday night. But this team historically has just had soft Friday nights, and that goes back maybe since this building was built. I don't know what it is, some karma about it. But hey, I'll tell you what, I know they had a 10-0 start last year, and it was pretty good the year. I don't particularly like teams that get off to 10-0 starts because a lot of them just hit the wall and then just roll right off the table. I would rather the old North Dakota formula where you start slow and you go up and then you reach your peak. Doesn't make it good for selling the tickets early in the year because those first impressions last, but that's fine. I'm okay with this team just getting better a week at a time. And I think last week what we saw is those especially the 3 freshman forwards that were playing last weekend. Wow. With Pitlick and Huglin and Bros, that's going to be an awesome trio.
Cappy, what are you expecting from Ohio State this weekend? I mean, they've had a great start. Minnesota's a good team. They haven't really, I don't know who else they've faced, but Minnesota will be the speed limit's going up, it seems like.
Yeah, oh yeah. It'll be, they played their first 2 on the road, then the next 6 were at home. And, they're the same rink I played at, and it can be a home advantage. It can be sometimes, and it can be kind of a boring rink to play in if there's not a crowd. But what I've seen from them is they're back to playing hard, and they've got enough skill or whatever to get some goals. But like they're playing hard for Rollick, and they're playing that relentless kind of frustrating game in the offensive zone, and then they're being really smart back, kind of what they were a couple of years ago when they were having tons of success. Now they want to blame the COVID last year. They didn't get all their training camp and all that stuff. New players, structure is hard to teach when you're not coaching it. It seems like they've had a regular preseason and it started to look good. Plus, like I said, they've got a couple of those freshmen that have really stepped up right away. So, I'm expecting them to come in and play hard. The thing about Minnesota is they get the best from pretty much everyone that comes at them because it's Minnesota. It's a lot like Michigan, a lot like probably North Dakota. And it's hard to match that all the time. You go into and in Wisconsin. Yeah, Wisconsin's a little down this year. You get 4 out of 6 points on the road. I think they'll take that every series all year. Yes, you want to be perfect and play better, but it's just not how it works all the time. And sometimes it's good to get that point on a Friday night and then get that W on the road. So I'm seeing Ohio State. I'm not going to make my prediction yet. I'll wait for Vigo. I want Vigo to go first this time around. I've always go before him, and he sneaks that in. But I'm watching them against Penn State after, Penn State's gotten a really good start. They beat North Dakota in that game that nobody thought they would win that game, not even close. And they won it, going away a little bit. So to sweep them at home, any sweep in the Big Ten is great, but to do that pretty decisively too on Saturday, they came back from down 1-0 in the third period and scored 4 in the third to win it. And when a goalie, you get that confidence from a young guy like that, any team, like the team in front of Jack last year, how good he was, like the team in front of him makes everyone else look that much better. So I think that builds the confidence, and they're going to come in, I think, confident off 5-1 homestand. So it'll be interesting.
Vig's kind of a strange question for you. Does Ohio State need a smaller arena?
I think it would definitely help.
I'll answer for him.
we look around college hockey, all the new buildings that are being built, are kind of in that 4,000 to 6,000 seat capacity. You know, you look at Arizona State, you look at Colorado College, you look at UConn, you know, you look at what St. Thomas, what I've heard is building. It's all in that size where you can have a crowd that's loyal, consistent, and loud and engaged. I mean, can you imagine right now if the Gophers were playing at like a renovated old Mariucci? There would not be a problem having 4,000 or 5,000 fans and then selling 500-600 seats to fill in the rest. And it would be like historic Yost, you know. You wouldn't have all this negative stuff going on because there'd be enough fans to fill that building and provide energy. And everybody would just be like, there's no attendance problem. So it's definitely smart for schools to play in a smaller building, I think. So,
but yet on the flip side of that, Frank, when Mariucci is full, it's been a while, that place can rock as well, even though it's a huge arena.
That audio clip that I ran last week, there were 10,000 people there. It sounded like 20. I mean, that's how it sounded. And it was just an incredible atmosphere in there. And yeah, it's just, I felt a little bad about running the audio because some games now sound more like they're in a Ramsey County rink or a high school rink instead of, you know, I mean, they're quiet. They're really quiet.
But it's not going to change.
Kathy,
they're not going to build another arena.
Well,
not for a long time.
No, there's things they could. When I win the big lottery, there's things I'll do in there that'll. They got to fix
Frank Mizoko Arena.
They got to fix the acoustics in there and make it so you can hear what's going on instead of it just being.
Good luck.
Yeah, well, that's why I got to win the big lottery.
That is Craig Floor's biggest nightmare, is that audio system.
Yeah. It's not
Go
the
ahead,
system
Viggs.
so much as the roof.
Oh yeah.
Cappy, have they started doing the things where they're doing like the bar seating at Ohio State where they can maybe, create more of a premium experience to get more people there?
I saw that they did that down in the far end of not the non-Zamboni end. They did do that. I saw that. I haven't, we haven't had any games on TV yet. So like, you're watching on BTN Plus, you're just getting the straight on feed where you're only seeing the rinks. You're not seeing a lot of that, but they did build that down in the far end opposite of Zamboni doors. So, I mean, it's a way to, maybe you're going to get people to pay a little money to kind of have that experience. You sit at a table and you get the game right in front of you. So I think any way to, generate revenue or excitement for someone to maybe pay a little more to go see a game is big. I just, that place, when I play, if we filled the bottom area, it was fun to get 8 or 9. We'd get 8 or 9,000 people, come after Christmas, no more football. And we were, a pretty solid, top 15 team or so. It could be fun. It was a fun experience in there. But I do love, look at Pagula. I love going there to do a game. It's so much fun. It's a perfect size arena, and you have a great student section. Like I could see that, the Gophers would, their students would come in and, have fun like that. You're right on top of the game. But yeah, I don't know what's going to happen at Ohio State. It's very frustrating because you see a lot of other facilities going up for other sports. I'm as a hockey alumni there, I'm a little frustrated when I see that because I'm like, people come watch hockey a little more than some of these other sports. I'm like, where's our turn kind of thing, but it is what it is.
Weren't they close, like within the last year or two, to building? And that's what we heard.
I've heard that too, Frank. I've heard it. I've been in the coach's room talking to them about it.
I could have sworn at media day, Steve Rolick said something like, maybe this winter we're going to hear something.
Yeah. So the last rumor I had heard was they were going to build a kind of practice rink attached to the shot and make it like maybe it was going to be the women's rink, which they deserve a rink. Hello, they're top, them in Wisconsin. I mean, look at that program. If you get off on a tangent, Ohio State women's program has become elite. But they were going to build a maybe 2,000 seat arena attached to it. So that would become the women's rink and the men's practice rink, and maybe they would play some of their non-conference games in there. So it really wouldn't fix the problem overall, but it would be something, maybe you'd get better locker rooms or something. I don't know. That was the last rumor I heard. I'm kind of done with hearing that until it's put pen to paper on some, $40 whatever $million they got to do, because it's just
it's interesting. I see people commenting how bad the audio is at Mariucci and how bad it was at the old Mariucci. We heard, I think, Frank, you might have been there after a game recently when Craig Floor was telling us that the original audio system at Mariucci was taken out of Memorial Stadium.
The speakers.
The speakers.
Yeah.
Memorial Stadium was still there when they built Mariucci, so they took them out. They're like, sound doesn't matter. Just grab the old speakers out of Memorial. They're loud enough.
Yeah, right. But I'm going to defend his soul. That was Wooger's idea. He wanted, part of the brick, if not all of the brick, at one end of Mariucci is from the arches of Memorial, right?
Yes, the bricks are from Memorial Stadium. Yep.
Right. And I don't know, did they bring I don't know if the arches came over intact or they reassembled them. Okay, so he wanted that because it was called Memorial Stadium. You're not supposed to destroy a memorial. Mm-hmm. And then he brought the speakers, figuring speakers are speakers. Well, we're in the second or third generation of speakers by now. I think those were replaced long ago. And
yes,
the speakers are not the problem. It's the roof. It's a big tin can.
It is way up there. Cappy?
I'll say I was there doing it was the finale of the season. Maybe 2015-ish. They were playing Wisconsin. It was a Saturday night to win the Big Ten. And they win that game. They win the regular season. And obviously they're playing Wisconsin. So that's their number one, rival in the league, in the Big Ten. And the place was pretty full. I want to say at least 85 at least out of the 9. It was, or whatever it is right. And I'm telling you, that place was howling. By the end, as they're getting, and they're scoring late and they're chanting the, Minnesota. And I was with Clymer and Dan Kelly, so I was between the benches. So being down near the ice, and I had my headphone. I took the headset off to listen to this. I was like, it would, if the fans are in it, and when it's like that, you're like, whoa. So I get it. It's not happening a lot right now, but man, when it does, that's a home advantage right there.
I agree with you, and a lot of times I'm doing photography along the glass. So the near side boards there, Frank. And that sound just comes right down, hits the glass. And I have to wear these earbuds and turn on noise cancellation because it is still loud. Because, it comes right down, hits the glass, and hits me right in the ears. It doesn't even have to be a packed house. It could be half full. And it just shows you the acoustics. When people want to be loud in there, it's still pretty loud, even though there's not many bodies. So it's interesting.
I'm going to get a phone call in the morning. I've already said more than I should.
Well, I didn't know that the Wooger was such an environmentalist.
Wooger was such a what?
Environmentalist, reuse and recycle.
Reusing, yeah, right.
I mean, bricks.
Should have kept the old Mary. But how much would redoing the old Mariucci would that have cost?
Well, I mean, they've got the pav there now.
Yeah, obviously they still use the building.
They still use the building, and they just renovated it for volleyball. They put in club rooms and suites and alcohol, and they're doing that up. So obviously the building's still standing.
Well, the building's getting close to 100 years old, isn't it? Was it built in the 20s, 30s?
Probably 30s
originally.
I just read there was an anniversary here of 75, 76 years for that building. I think Royce wrote it, the old memorial, I think. Or wait, maybe he's talking about Williams. Sorry, can't help you on that.
Hey, I wanted to ask you: is there still a plan to shrink the rink?
There is,
and
it's included in the budget in the next 5 years to do it, and they're not going to have to fundraise for it. They're just going to be able to use their commercial program to pay for it. I would like them to do it as soon as they can. So potentially this offseason they could shrink it. I do think it's an opportunity for them to, when they shrink it, they're going to be in there working the building, to kind of reconfigure some of the seats to maybe create some kind of like, ice box type seating where you can have, some loungy bar tables and things like that.
Some fancy high-end tickets. Yeah.
Yep. And then maybe you only have 9,000 seats instead of 10,000. But I don't know. When I was talking to people in the know who were doing that was about 4 years ago, pre-COVID. So who knows? But I do know that premium seats are much easier to sell than regular seats. Right now, the seats between the blue lines, they sell those pretty easily. The ones in the corners that they're trying to sell for the low price, those are the ones they're having trouble selling.
And they are thinking of the
1928 was the year for Williams.
Yes, the concourse could be improved.
Frank, but no, they're thinking of the bar, freestanding, so you can stand and have your drinks up there.
Mm-hmm.
Do they sell beer yet in Mariucci?
Oh yeah.
Grab
Anywhere,
and go.
or does it
all over?
I remember people saying, "I'll come back to Mariucci when they start selling beer." What's this like? Going to be like the third season, maybe second or third?
Yeah, and now you can go and you can see them play the Buckeyes this weekend for $30, and you get a ticket and a beer or a glass of wine.
What's the price on beer there?
It's about $8-9 at least.
That's cheapest beer I've heard of in a stadium in a while.
Yeah,
anything in 9 digits instead or 3 digits instead of 4.
3 digits, yeah.
3 digits, 9.
All right, guys, let's get your predictions for the weekend at Ohio State. We're going to start with you, Viggs, because Cappy doesn't like the pressure of going first.
I do feel like the Gophers continue their trend of not playing well on Friday night. I think they drop Friday, and then they get a stern film session and come back and win Saturday. I do think Ohio State's the kind of team that will present problems for Minnesota, and they've had enough time to integrate their young players. You don't really have warm-up games in college hockey, but you look at Ohio State's schedule, and it kind of warmed up right into that Penn State series, and they met the challenge against a pretty good team. So I think they'll be coming in on a little bit of a high streak, looking forward to getting on the road and playing at Mariucci. And as Cappy said, teams always give their best when they play Minnesota.
I'll be right back. Cappy, go ahead.
Frank's got to check his notes real quick.
We're gonna mute Frank. We're just gonna mute him. Go ahead, Cappy.
If the Ohio State special teams are any good, then it might change his prediction. But I was gonna maybe go a little different.
All the pressure on Cappy right now.
Agreeing with Viggs. I'm gonna go. I actually think I'm gonna flip it. I think Minnesota's gonna surprise and win on Friday night, and I think Ohio State's gonna win in overtime on Saturday. So Minnesota's gonna take 4 out of 6. I'm playing like a reverse jinx kind of.
I think you're wrong. Go for sweep, baby.
Shocking.
Yeah, I know. I know.
I don't know if you know, I've been calling sweeps like the last couple of weeks, so this is a rare for me to call a split. So,
Frank, you ready yet? You got all organized? You figured it out?
Organized.
Check his notes.
We got
a couple days until game day.
It's those radio guys. I don't know.
We don't have to be organized. We just have to have
former TV star. Remember? Don't you know who I am? Frank Mizoko from Fargo,
MSC Sports.
I don't think Steve Rollick has won 2 games here.
Oh, he's not. No, he's not sweeping.
No,
I feel like the Gophers though have had more.
No, I mean ever.
Oh.
See, that's kind of where I'm going. I mean, the numbers are not in the Buckeyes' favor here. I'll never find it. Maybe I didn't.
Give us your professional opinion as an analyst of the Gopher Radio Network on their
phone. I don't get phone calls tomorrow? So the boss doesn't call?
No, you want those phone calls. More popular.
The odds say Gopher sweep. I mean, I'm not talking about the Vegas odds. I'm okay on paper.
They don't play the games
I
on
always
paper,
hedge
Frank.
everything. I always hedge everything. Motzko says he's worried about. Vig, did you catch his coach's show Monday, Tuesday, whenever it ran?
I sure did. I caught it right on Monday.
He said, okay, the coaches picked them to finish 7th, the Buckeyes. And
Correct.
boy, is Steve Rollick and his coaching staff happy about that. Because they think, and Motzko thinks, they're much better than a 7th place team, and look out. Hey, they're
But
scoring
he didn't
goals
think
right now.
that a month ago or 2 months ago when he picked them 7th.
He said he wouldn't have voted them there. Yeah, right. He said,
Sure.
Yeah. Somebody had
I
to.
don't know. So, all right. So I'll go with, you know what? I predicted a Gopher slaughter on Friday at Wisconsin last week, you recall, at the beginning of the show. Not well. Not well at all. So you want me to go? You didn't say I had to pick. You just said, come on for a few minutes.
They duped you.
Well, yeah, I was going to have you on for just a few minutes, and then you're like, what do you want to talk about?
Okay. All right.
Pressure's on,
all
man.
right. So you got my word. I said on paper, and you look at talent pool and past record, I don't think the Gophers are going to have the problem on a Friday night that Vigo thinks. I hear you. I've seen a lot of farts on Friday nights, but I think it'll be a Gopher sweep.
All right, there we go. It's always positive.
Talk is cheap. Talk is
What's
cheap.
that? Like,
I'm seeing it.
that's, so Viggs is the only guy that picked the Buckeyes to win a game in regulation. Let's put that on the message board tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm already on Bob's good side, so he's been giving me a hard time this year.
I love it.
Cappy, I see a question on Twitter that I didn't see earlier. John Reynolds, please ask Paul one thing he likes about Big Ten hockey and one thing he misses about his old conference, the CCHA.
What I like about the Big Ten, the youth speed and skill is pretty good. I think that's where we get caught sometimes in the tournament and whatnot, is we're not very experienced. We're kind of like really skilled. You get the recruiting is ridiculous. Look at Michigan, look at Minnesota, look at all the draft picks, right? But when you come down to grinding against those, St. Clouds and Toulouse, it's not gone very well because those teams are, they got the maturity and all that stuff. So, but I love the speed and these young guys that come in, they're freshmen, they come in right away and they become names immediately in the Big Ten. I love that kind of stuff. And then what I miss about the CCHA me personally is my favorite rival more than Michigan was Miami, Ohio. We were both really good teams. They're an hour down the road. It was an Ohio battle. I loved playing at the old Goggin Arena, one of the best arenas ever. So much fun. And so I miss that, and some of the other ones I don't miss, like Fair State. That rank was not the best in the world, but I miss that.
Yeah, but so many close rivalries. But I mean, you had the whole state of Michigan in your conference, pretty much, and then everything was close. Now it's Michigan and Michigan State are close, and
I don't know. We had to go to northern Michigan and Lake Superior State. Those were. We also bus ride everywhere. There were no plane rides. We were busing to those
here
places.
Comes the bitterness.
No, I'm just saying, like going to Marquette, Michigan was 10 or 11 hours, maybe. So I missed that, and then easily the CCHA at the Joe. That was the best. That was the best place I ever played a hockey game in. And then beating Michigan there to win the CCHA was so. The Joe Louis Arena experience was. Unbelievable. Yeah,
but you never experienced the WCHA Final Five where Frank Mizoko and Doug Wu were calling the games.
I wasn't asked about the WCHA. CCHA.
Oh, fun times. Well, Frank, thanks for sneaking on our 200th episode. We appreciate you coming on just short notice.
Hope I'm still around for 300.
Wow. That's quite a few years down the line, but
I don't think
if we keep it going that long, I don't know. Maybe,
Good to have goals. Good to have goals.
It's 10
I'm
years,
just
right?
I'm just hoping to make it to 201. Everything else
One day
is
at a time. I heard that on the show here somewhere tonight.
yeah. And Cappy, thanks for coming on again. You're getting up there with number of appearances.
What
You're
am I?
still behind
What year
Molesky,
is
though.
this? What year is this? 6, 5, 6?
Something like that.
It's crazy. I mean, we're in the ninth year of Big Ten hockey, right? Like, it's slowly kind of.
That's crazy.
The memory of a lot of the, all the griping early on. I get it. But
there's still a lot of it.
Of course, but think about kids-wise, right? If you're a 14-year-old kid, your first year was Big Ten probably as a 5-year-old or 6-year-old. Now you're 4. I'm just saying it's slowly kind of building up what they're hoping it would be. Yes, but yes, I know you'll never.
The kids who signed their NLIs today were squirts when the Big Ten started. They were squirts and mites. They hadn't gone on any road trips like Cardinals kids went on this year.
Mm-hmm.
If these kids who are freshmen in college don't remember Paul Martin playing in the NHL, they sure as heck don't remember the WCHA.
There you go.
Cappy, you've heard that story, I hope.
It's a good topic for overtime.
Well,
for overtime.
We're going to bring it up for overtime because that's good stuff. We got a lot of good stuff.
Maybe I'll hang around. I got a question too. We go for overtime, but then I got
to go. You need help. You need help prepping for Friday night.
No, I need help in my notes.
Well, thanks guys for all being part of this. And thanks everyone who watches and listens. A lot of people watch us live, and in the past they would listen live through that little Mixler sound app. So we've been doing the show live for quite a long time. It was only those first few years we recorded and put up. But thanks everyone for always tuning in live, listening, giving us these questions. And the newer part of having overtime that lasts forever. Oh, so we just lost Cappy. What a shame. He'll come back.
I think his data plan ran out.
Oh, it could be. He's in Florida. He's living it great. So he'll come back. But that's going to do it for this episode of the GPL podcast. We got to thank Cappy, Hammy, Cardinal, and of course Frank Mizoko for joining us for this special episode. For those of you currently watching live, we're going to have some overtime. And for the rest of you, we'll see you next week. You can see we've kind of updated our broadcast here, Frank. A little more technology now.
Oh, this way. Hey, did you know? So we get to be bite heads here now. Each time you went to video, like when you went to your sponsor commercial, my audio muted.
Yep.
Is that
it
because
does that automatically?
Guest?
Yeah, it mutes me. It mutes everybody at once. When the video plays, it mutes everybody until the video's done. So it's kind of nice.
Oh, okay.
Cappy, if you can hear us, Cappy, it says
device not connected.
Yeah, device not connected. Mic camera is not working. So you need to fix that. Okay, Viggs is doing us poor, so we got to give Viggs the whole screen here for his beverage of the week. Tell us about it, Viggs.
This might be one of the oldest beers I have in my collection house, whatever. It's a Bourbon County brand stout with mulberries, boysenberries, marionberries, and aged in rye whiskey barrels. It is from November of 2013.
Wow.
So
2013?
Yeah. They don't even make them in bottles like this anymore. They make them in smaller ones because what crazy person would want 650 milliliters of Bourbon County?
Boysenberry.
Boysenberry. I don't expect to get a lot of boysenberry notes anymore after 8 years. But it smells like Bourbon County.
Can you see that, Frank? You say our boy Ryan Thompson asking you a question. Since Frank is the resident Gopher historian, When was the last own goal with the Gophers? My memory says early 2000s versus St. Cloud at Mariucci.
I don't know. All I know is in the middle of the broadcast, Wally got a text from Dean Williamson. Oh, well, no, this isn't a Gopher own goal. This was a penalty. Hey, he's back.
Yeah, there he is.
I don't know what happened.
He didn't see the disgusting beer that you're drinking, though, Vic. Boysenberry and what?
Mulberries.
I think when I was trying to get back in, I saw something on Twitter and it looked like something I would never drink, so I kind of moved past it quickly.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. How is it?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's a Brett Porter. Like there's a little bit of berry on the finish, like a bramble pie kind of thing. And it's just kind of like rich cocoa. It's like a chocolate covered.
Like something
Sounds
you have
like
for
dessert.
Yeah, it is totally a dessert.
I will be drinking in 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, the show before Thanksgiving, when we have Brad Schlossman on. That's the podcast I drink.
Oh,
12.7%.
Whoa.
It's like
one of those will be good enough. Yeah.
Well, maybe. I'm a big guy.
So I was
my first rodeo.
That's first rodeo.
I got to go to Canada last week. I was in Winnipeg, and we go to dinner the night, and I wasn't going to drink beer. I was maybe going to have one. I don't even know what I was going to have, if anything. And the guy down the table for me orders a kokanee, and I'm like, bingo, that is the best beer in the world. In my opinion, kokanee, that glacier beer out from Western Canada, I was like, done, get me a kokanee, put it on the table. And I had 2 of them, and I don't drink a ton of beer anymore, but they were very delicious. And I get to go to Winnipeg again in December, so I will be going back for more kokanee.
So Frank, I didn't get to hear the radio broadcast this past weekend. I barely saw the TV. I was just busy doing things, but I did happen to look up. I was at the bar when the own goal happened on Wisconsin. I literally looked up and like, why is the referee pulling the puck out of the net? What happened? What was Wally's call? What did you guys think? What the heck was that? I mean, I've thought about it for years. I've always wondered why something like this has never happened. I mean, I don't know where he was passing it or what happened, but that was just odd.
Yeah, let me go back to Ryan's question. So right after, and then I'll go back to the goal. But right after that, Wally gets a text from Dean Williamson that said Mikey Anderson. Mike Anderson had a similar situation. I don't know if Williamson mentioned the goal or not. So I'm going to see if I can track down Anderson for our alumni segment this weekend and get his story. So that, Dino, that's not saying that's the last one, but that would be somewhere in that 2000 era, wouldn't it?
No, that would be mid-90s. Mid to late 90s. If it's Mike Anderson from Jefferson, is that the one you're talking about?
He played in the new Mariucci.
He played in the new Mariucci, but it wasn't in the 2000s. Because, those Jefferson teams, 92, 93, 94. So he's probably, 95, 96, 97. So he's in there somewhere.
Gotcha.
God, that sounds familiar. That would have been a game you and Tom called.
Maybe.
Yeah.
3 decades ago, but so anyway.
And then it wasn't long after that. It wasn't long after that you guys had was it the Final 5 game where St. Cloud shot it through the net? It went through a hole. They went back and gave them a goal.
A goal, yeah. Went through the net.
We've seen a lot of weird things.
Some of them we remember. No, I don't. Here's what I remember of that play. I don't remember anything that looked like a penalty, which we figure must have happened out at center ice.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe that's where Faber last touched the puck. Then it comes along to the near half wall. Badger player gets it. He's going to drop it back to the point. Did so, apparently didn't look, and put it right between his 2-point men and just dead center in the net. Well, as soon as he threw it back to the point, Wally said that he started looking down at his notes for whatever,
No.
And I'm sitting there yelling, "It's going to go in! It's going to go in!" It was dead center. And then they say there's going to be a video review, and then we're thinking, what on earth is the video review going to be? Well, they thought there was a touch by Jackson Nelson at that half wall.
Real close there. Yep.
Is that reviewable?
And
something like that?
Well, it's a goal, so goals can be reviewed. I guess.
Yeah, but that play wasn't part of the goal, right?
Well,
there's a gray area there.
I
feel like a little bit.
There's a one sentence paragraph in Rule 15 that clearly. I have it on my phone. I had to get it. That clearly says, not in these exact words, but it says an offending team cannot score on a deflection. So, in other words, that whistle. Not that the whistle would have blown because there was no possession change. He didn't have control, but you can't score the goal. I mean, it kind of flies. It's opposite of the delayed penalty, where with the delayed penalty you got to have control and then the penalty's called. But if you deflect, there's no goal, and it clearly states that situation in the one paragraph. I give credit for Granato for knowing that and challenging and getting the ruling on that.
I see.
Absolutely.
Wow.
That's what I know.
And then, of course, you had Wally Shaver on the coaches show saying, "Hey, Bob, would you ever coach your players to do this so you could deflect their stick but not the puck and maybe get a goal somehow?" And Bob's just like, "No."
Oh man,
dead air. Like, okay.
That thought was born after several ounces of adult beverages the night before.
Had a little fun in Madison, Frank?
And it made we were good. I really don't think I had more than 2 beers any one of it. No, it wasn't. I can't go crazy anymore. It's beyond me, but
definitely.
But yeah, that was late night Friday, and it made it all the way to the pregame show on Saturday. Well, how about twice?
Frank's frozen.
Yeah, that's
go ahead. We can hear you, Frank. You're just frozen. It's really weird. It's been weird looking at you for like the last 5 minutes. Just
probably your data plan.
Right. Probably your data plan.
You run out of minutes. You're running out of minutes.
Yeah, I don't know, Cappy. If you
actually,
heard,
I'm on my.
Frank was throwing you under the bus when your video went out. So.
Oh, okay. All right. I didn't hear anything, but you just threw him under the bus. Wait, he threw me under the bus. You just threw him under the bus.
You can go back and watch the replay if you want. I know you go back and you listen to your old tapes. That's what professionals do, professional announcers, right, Frank? You've got all those old cassette tapes that you have and old Super 8s. And...
Speaking, Jupe, I found this summer, I have a case of VHS tapes. They're not labeled well by game. It's just those things that I recorded, then recorded over. And then, So if you're looking for something to do this summer and you want to pull some video, I'm sure its copyrights are gone.
I've given
Does anyone have the capability of watching something on VHS anymore?
I don't
even have a VHS player.
Do you?
Well, Frank, where's your Frank? Where's your reel-to-reel? I know you've got a reel-to-reel player there somewhere.
I got 2 of them.
See?
I gotta come to his house to watch some old Glory Day hockey on my VHS as well.
I still have so many audio clips of you, Frank, calling games that I took
audio
off of
from TV.
From TV, yeah.
I remember even coaching football like 15 years ago, and one of the guys I coached with played against me in high school, and our head coach dug out one of the old VHS tapes and played it for our current players, and they just thought, this is amazing. It's on tape, because even then that we were like burning DVDs of like game film to hand out to people and stuff. They're just like all DVD, and they're like, "Oh, this is amazing." Boy, the quality's not very good. And I was like, "Yeah, it was not."
Well,
I can't even watch a DVD anymore. I don't have a
I
DVD
know,
player.
it's crazy. If I'm not getting good streaming, it's hard to watch the BTN even, you know?
Let's see if
Right.
I can find it here.
It's wild.
I got to imagine that Miami, Ohio State
Tied at 2. Here we go.
That was the Ehrman goal.
20,000 people, right?
Oh, there it was packed there.
Here we go.
Tied it 2.
Goal.
Here we go. Then there's always the short ones.
Backhanded a goal. Whoa! What a sweet move.
Backhand and a goal. I've got tons of these, Frank.
Shooting a goal. Shooting a goal. And the pass by Barabal was behind Wheeler, who dives and scores! Unbelievable! Blake Wheeler diving for an overtime goal to prevent icing. He scores. It's a championship for Minnesota.
There it is, Frank.
And the pass by Barabal.
I've said it twice there.
Okay.
What was that one? I don't even know what was.
That
Wheeler
was
score some goal or something. I don't even. What did that? When did that happen? Even I know that one.
Yeah, everyone knows the Wheeler goal.
Oh.
But apparently, Woog didn't see it. He was too busy watching something else. I remember on the replay, he says, I didn't even see it. I was too busy looking at what was happening behind the play. I'm going, Wooger, were you not?
Well, there was nothing to look at. I mean, it was just a chip down the ice, and there was like no way was Wheeler going to catch it.
No.
And he was looking at who got tangled up, who farted the puck away back at the blue line, the other end.
Yep. He did. And I was right there, Frank. I was right behind the net. Camera down like this, watching the play. He ain't going to get to it. Boom, he scores.
What, were you shooting film?
No, I was not shooting film. I was shooting digital. But the thing is, FSN, Mike Pigeon from the penalty box, his low angle shot, you see me in the background of the highlight reel in my yellow shirt going, oh, I missed the shot. And of course, they put that on the big highlight reel a couple of years ago. So every time they started a game, I'd see myself up on the big screen missing the shot again and again.
Everybody was looking at you instead of Blake Wheeler, I'm sure. So don't.
No, I literally thought it was going to be icing too. All of a sudden he dove and all craziness happened. So,
Frank, were you the guy? Were you doing FS North in the late '90s?
Yeah.
it's all him.
Okay.
It's all him.
But yeah, right. But it was Midwest Sports Channel then.
Was that what it? So I remember. So I was playing juniors in Omaha at that time, and our cable or our Fox Sports or whatever it was for Minnesota or Minneapolis. So I got to see all the college hockey I saw was Gopher games, and I remember, watching you guys, and I was just like, whoa, that it just looked like, when you're in junior, you're still looking at college as this like.
Oh yeah,
big stage, and so I was just overwhelmed watching. I'm like, man, that just looks so intimidating. And we were watching them play North Dakota and whoever, and these games looked wild. There were some high scoring games. I'm like, it looks like fun, but I look like I'm so far away from that too, like in terms of being able to do it. I just remember that was fun for shoot a couple years. I was watching that. That was the college hockey I watched being in Omaha, Nebraska.
They didn't have a Frank Mizoko for Quinnipiac back
What's
then.
that?
They didn't have a Frank Mizoko for Quinnipiac.
I don't recall.
Do you remember when Grant Patolny was giving you a hard time in the face-off circle?
I thought that's where you were going.
That's where I was going with that.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know if Frank knows that story. That was good classic Lincoln versus Omaha days back then.
Oh, okay.
And look at Quinnipiac now. They're top 5.
I know. They have a nice rink there.
They gave North Dakota I think North Dakota went out there this year, didn't they?
They split out there.
Series. Yeah.
NCHC is not doing great as they're used to doing.
No, and
It
you
doesn't
feel
matter.
Awful.
It doesn't matter. It's the
hockey-
Minnesota
hockey-
schools against Minnesota. It's, we can't beat
Right.
Duluth. We can't beat St. Cloud. We can't beat Mankato.
without cheating. St. Cloud. Without cheating. Hey, you know who's really bad this year?
They blew it. The refs really blew it. Wally Shaver right there.
But he didn't know why.
Hockey East League is pretty bad.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, I saw the Ryan
They're
Lambert.
non-conference.
He's the two-line pass guy. He came out and wrote this article basically ripping the pairwise because Hockey East is going to have to vote to disband the pairwise because otherwise only one team's going to get in because they've done so poorly in non-conference.
And it's misleading because they get voted in the votes. People still vote. Like Providence is 10th or something. I'm like, what is going on here?
Who's
they're
voting for
6
them?
and
Yeah.
5 or something. And they haven't beaten anybody. Even look at their wins are not exactly. You look at the Gophers, their schedule. You're like, okay, 6 and 4 is not bad with that schedule, but it's funny to see that. And BC hangs around up there, and BU might get some votes. They're 3 and 7 for crying out loud.
Well,
Yeah,
doesn't
Hockey
Harvard have
0-5 against CCHA.
Hockey East is
Yeah.
0-5 against CCHA or CHA. I should
Well,
say.
what's their other record? Yeah, I mean they're 1 and something. It was bad, really bad.
They're 3 and 4 to the NCHC, 5-6-1 to ECAC, and 1-2-1 to Big Ten.
Right.
They're 10-3-0 against AHA.
Oh, well.
Okay. Frank, in 2 weeks, you head to Grand Forks. I know you always had a great time in Grand Forks when you were calling TV there. How forward are you looking to go back?
I can't wait to go back.
Ooh. That's good, because I know you weren't a fan of it when you were doing TV.
Doesn't want his car to get egged when he
Is
comes
it man, a few words. Hey, I mean, is Minnesota's gonna have the hardest schedule in the country, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even
And
close. Sorry,
it's
to
top
interrupt
5.
you, Frank.
It's top 5 every year.
Yeah.
And
Okay, sorry, Frank. Go ahead.
No, I was done. He asked a simple question. I gave him a simple answer.
Okay.
Right on.
Okay. We'll let
And by the way, Frank, I love that Learfield dropped that extra name. What was it? It was Learfield IMG. So I'm like, who? I know some marketing guy thought that was smart to do for a couple of years, but that really annoyed me.
Yeah, I know, but as I understand, the IMG world is a pretty big world, and they wanted to bridge. I think we only did it for a year. I could be wrong, but
still, I'm glad you're back to just Learfield now.
Yeah, that's fine. Checks are regular, and they're good people. I mean,
and do you seriously still get? Do you seriously still get checks for Fargo?
I was just gonna say paper checks.
Oh no, it's direct. It's. Do I get checks for Fargo? No, I never got a dime.
Oh.
I'm still trying to figure out. I think
Grumpy Old Men, maybe?
But I can't. No.
Oh.
Tell me, isn't there one more movie? You had my movie list down at one time.
There is one more, isn't there? Somebody in the chat. We just mentioned it was. I think we talked about it last week or something like that. It's definitely Fargo,
right?
And then Grumpy Old Men, where your voice is in there.
Grumpy
is
Old
it
Men
one
too?
of the duck?
Oh boy, Vigo's bringing up some rankings here. What do you get? I can't even see that.
What is that? Pairwise or what is that?
Schedule strength.
This is Cratch. So Minnesota's 4.
Oh yeah.
Duluth
4.
is 1. Michigan 2 or 3. Western Michigan 2.
Wow. Michigan.
So I wanted to try out
Michigan,
this
I hope
feature.
UMass.
Yeah, Vigs now has the power to do this stuff now since the software finally opened up to allow more than one person to run the show, so he can do cool things like this now.
Yeah, Massachusetts, your top Hockey East.
4. So that's just on current schedule, though, right? It's not projecting ahead.
Correct.
Okay. Wow. I watched a lot of that Western. I watched the whole Western Michigan versus Michigan game. Western's got a team this year. I mean, they've had some good teams in the past, but I could see that maybe actually competing at the top of the NCHC this year. Just from watching.
Who's coaching them now?
That's a good question.
Who's coaching them now?
I don't need.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to stump you. I just thought maybe you were.
No, you did. I know he's new this year. Didn't he get?
Oh, really?
He was their assistant coach that got promoted because, what's his name, retired. Andy Murray.
Yeah,
he retired.
Murray,
So
kind of out of the blue,
Pat,
I thought.
Pat is his first name. Shoot.
Pat Forcia?
They play on campus.
Firschweiler.
Firschweiler, that's what it is. Okay.
That's why it's so hard to remember
home.
because it's not. It just rolls off the tongue.
Vig, I need you in the booth. I need you in the booth, Vig.
Maybe he could fill in for you next time you have another.
I don't know
if
if I can handle Wally on his own.
Okay, here's an outside one. Not so much Minnesota. What Biggs, what's going to happen with Arizona State next year with that new barn?
They're going to have a lot of teams wanting to play there.
Well, right, but I'm talking
all the Big Ten teams have got to visit there eventually here.
Right, they promised them, right? Why wouldn't you? But I'm talking about.
So, do you think in terms of performance? Oh, conference.
No, like a conference. Is the Big Ten going to finally give in? If Illinois does not, make those steps they were so close to 2 years ago, if COVID didn't hit, Illinois would probably be playing in a year for like next year. But that's not happening now, at least not in the near future. I don't know. Do they not want to have two affiliate teams to fill out 8?
I don't think that's it. I think they were waiting on Illinois or Northwestern to get that team. And if they don't think that's going to happen, they're going to swallow them up. Because, that's going to be a great addition. It's a Power 5 school, adds to your voting block, for voting stuff into the rules and things. You get a Pac-12 team. I think players will look forward to it.
BTN going there. Don't have us in the studio. Having us in the studio in Chicago.
Podcast from
Tempe.
A couple friends who live down there.
Course.
I don't know if I'm welcome out there.
From Tempe in February.
Yeah, I'll get a nice Marriott with Cappy. We'll play golf.
That's
we'll have
fine.
some.
What do you mean? Podcast from Jeremy's pool.
With cactus in the background.
Play TPC Scottsdale.
Oh, jeez.
Well, I just
played there before.
I just think the Big Ten's got. I'd like to get to 8 teams. I don't care how it happens, but
the coaches
7
want to as well.
Really crappy.
Yep.
Yeah, the coaches want to as well. Like Penn State having a bye week before the Big Ten tournament, and then being the 1 seed and having 2 weeks off. That was a disaster waiting to happen for them. If they
now
lose
it's going
that
to
next
happen to
game,
Ohio State this year, right?
Could be.
I mean,
can you cue up that Dream On music real quick?
If Wisconsin didn't score on their own goal this weekend, there would be a 3-way tie for first place. Just stating facts. I'm not.
A couple of years ago, there was
kidding, but
there was a chance for like a 3-way tie for first place in the Big Ten. Everybody was in it except for Michigan State in that last weekend.
Yep.
The 6th team could have finished first, and the first team could have finished 5th or something like that. As much as people like to give the Big Ten a hard time, there are usually going to be 6 pretty good teams in the league.
Yeah.
Just because of the facilities, the programs, the schools.
Yeah, it's at this point. I don't know. I'm not gonna say it. I'm gonna get phone calls in the morning if I say what I was just about to say. But
no one listens to overtime.
Nobody listens. It's only the people live here.
Brian Deutsch is like the only person.
I haven't seen Deutsch. Hasn't been. Deutsch sometimes he'll comment, and not even no comments, or it's every once in a while he'll text us.
Well, no, Deutsch would be okay with my comment. This would be a pro Big Ten thing, not a anti.
Yeah,
it would be.
Yeah.
People are. I don't want to say jealous, but they're jealous a little bit of what the Big Ten is. There's money. There's TV. There's notability. For the college hockey world, which is as small as we are. It's a little of that. The NCHC does a great job, great conference, but they're always kind of like battling as that. On Twitter, always pumping their own tires because they feel like they need to.
And their first national game isn't until January, and they have, 11 games this year, Viggs? And Minnesota's on Big Ten Network 9 times themselves.
Right.
And Michigan's
and
probably
Scott,
more. Michigan's probably 14.
Yeah.
And as Scott Bell would tell every recruit, hey, where are you going to go if you play for Minnesota Duluth? Oh, okay. How do you get there? Bus. We charter everywhere.
We charter.
We don't just fly. Yeah. We charter.
Yeah.
And Frank, don't you get to go on the charter many times?
Yeah. Talk about spoiled.
Nice. hey,
do security at the school.
Yeah, you do security at the school, and you're kind of, it's all good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let me tell you. Let me tell you, fellas. No. Let me tell you. This is we're in overtime, and no one's gonna hear this all that. But chartering in college is pretty nice, but try charting in the NHL. Whoa.
Yeah, I did see. Didn't I see a couple? I saw some pictures on your Twitter, or maybe it was Instagram.
Boster's on Instagram was doing his on our way to Winnipeg was videoing everything, and that guy likes to eat. Like he's disciplined eater, but when he eats, that guy pounds like it's crazy. And he's taking videos of all the snacks and everything, and then the menu and all that. I'm like, Foster's, settle down a little. But he's 30. He's 30. He's a millennial. He loves all the
oh yeah, he's a youngster.
So, yeah, but those charters. Whoa.
Well, I'm sure they are.
Yeah, it's the convenience factor. How that goes is unbelievable. The setup, But for college, I mean, you're kidding me? Like you're barely touching your bags. You're not grinding out an 8-hour bus ride to, wherever. And
you do.
Yeah, and then you're on TV.
You do land in Minneapolis on the tarmac at the charter terminal, which does not have a jetway. In January, February, March, that's not a real happy time at 2 a.m.
Oh, come on, Frank.
Have you ever gotten out of a bus at 4 a.m. after being in it for
6 a.m.? 6 a.m.
I'm not saying that this is worse off than I told you I'm pretty lucky, right?
Oh,
but
yeah.
It's not. There are little bumps in the road. It's not right.
It's not perfect.
You check the weather, and if it's raining back home, or the wind is howling out of the northwest, you got to wait for your bag on the tarmac.
Oh,
boy. It's usually behind all the hockey games.
Frank, how do you get out of bed in the morning? Jesus. How do you get out of bed?
The feet go right into the plush slippers. I tell you that.
Velvet suede.
Velvet
slippers. Rub that
suede
in the opposite side.
Oh man.
But
boys, I need to run off.
That's good. Well, thanks for coming on, Frank. It was so nice to have you on.
I had my booster jab yesterday, and it's still kicking me in the rear end a little bit, which is
that's good
because it's only a half dose. What's that?
I mean, I think that's good though. That means it's kind of doing its job, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, for sure.
We need to keep you around, Frank. So none of this COVID for you, please.
That's the deal.
Thank you, Frank.
I will see you Friday, or whoever's around. Kathy.
See you, Frank. Thanks.
All right, Frank. Yeah.
Wow.
So as of now, the only Gopher games I got is the Ohio State series in February. And as of now, all but one of my games so far that I'm scheduled to do, I'm doing from the studio in Chicago.
Really?
Yeah. And 6 of them are Ohio State home games. And so, even that, all those games I'm doing at Ohio State, I'm not going to my school once to, because I always enjoyed it to go there. I'd get to go see some of my friends that live there. So it was always a bonus to, have a little, fun time with friends before or after the trip, So it's kind of a bummer, at least for now. I was I was telling Leanne, who's the SID there, I'm like, Leanne, if you guys keep winning, if you guys get in the top 10 in a month from now, maybe they want us to be there since it's Michigan Ohio State top 10 matchup. Maybe they're like, oh, we should probably have our announcers there and make this a better, But
Send Steve a little email. Be like, hey, Steve, keep it up.
Steve, rip off your next 6 of 7.
Get a split this weekend, Steve.
Yeah, I know Dan Kelly was here a couple weeks ago. Dan Kelly was here.
Yeah, as far as I know, from what I saw, and Dan Kelly's gonna, I think 5, at least 5 of my 7 that I have scheduled right now are with Dan. So like the 2 I have in Michigan, and I believe the 2 Gopher ones will both be me and Dan from Chicago as of how it is now. I don't know how much this is a hit. I don't know how much they want to keep that hidden or like, make it feel like we're on site. I don't know if that's even a thing anymore because of what happened the last 2 years.
I don't think it's much of a thing, but I know Dan was here. He was tweeting pictures. Hey, I'm on for a morning jog. What a beautiful fall day. It's like,
yeah. I mean, it's like it's night and day. Like last year, you survived it. You did it from wherever. Shoot, me and Chris were in Wisconsin twice. One was doing a Gopher Michigan game, and one was doing a Wisconsin game. Like, why are we not at the rink? We're 10 minutes from there, or whatever,
Right.
But then going to South Bend, and I mean that was one of the best days of my life. I ripped off 3 games in 9 hours, and in person, you're like, oh my God, I forgot how much better it is to be sitting here. Now in the fans, yes, it would have been great if it was empty, but to be able to see everything,
you got to see everything because otherwise it's just like this tunnel vision, isn't it?
Right. So when you're sitting there, at least when I've done it, you have one screen that is the game, and then you have another screen next to it that is kind of like got 6 boxes with multiple angles. So I guess you can see. So like, say if the goalie's going to get pulled and the puck's down, you can see that, I guess. Or maybe a producer can tell you, like, so you can say it, because how the hell else are you going to know if
he's
the goal is
empty
empty
there?
12.7.
Well, I just want to make sure I don't get any barrel in here.
Oh, very fancy. It looks like you're pouring a root beer. I like root beer, though. So no, you're not getting any foam. Does that make it better?
Well, it's old. I don't want any barrel. Because when it's 8 years old in the barrel, sometimes these barrel aged beers have like a little bit of like char stuff in there.
Oh,
it's fine.
That doesn't make them better. I thought that was part of their thing.
It can make it better, but you just don't want to drink it.
You are a beer snob, Biggs.
Yeah,
I'm just a straight snob. Coffee, wine, beer.
You and Pizza would get along so well with that crap. Yeah. We have nothing in common in the drinking era of life.
Yeah, Kokanee versus IPAs.
You guys don't like Kokanee? Have you ever even tried it?
No, I like Kokanee. I like
it's
Blue
just not
after
like,
hockey.
You like right. You probably look at it like a Miller Lite or something. Like,
I mean, it's not that far off.
Yeah,
it's different, but
a crisp beer. I can't drink that heavy stuff.
I've got crisp beers for you too. It's just not at 11:15 at night.
Now I noticed that
12:15 for me.
Yeah,
I'm in Florida, guys. By the way.
Yeah, we know it's Sarasota. I saw that.
No.
You and your video of like a bike trail. It's all tropical and
stuff.
It's
brand new. Like they just
built
this thing. It was very cool. So
we're getting snow on Friday here. So.
Oh well, I'll be back.
Yeah, but we had a great fall though, Viggs.
Great fall. Yep.
Dude, I mean, you could have in Chicago. I left on Monday. You could have. It was 65. You could have played golf November or whatever that is. So
that's what was here
last year. I feel like the falls they're getting better, like consistently. Like you can go through September. Like okay, it's going to be nice through September at least, and then October's have been pretty darn good. I think.
Now you mentioned Pizza. Are you guys going to be doing any shows in studio?
It's a good question. We have 2 doubleheader. I don't think there's only 2. I don't remember Viggs was saying when the schedule. Hey, there's a couple doubleheaders. I'm like, yeah, there's 2.
Yeah,
2. Whatever. Anyways, I was a little thrown off because they had talked about they were going to do more hockey and more volleyball and more wrestling. Well, volleyball got like double of what they normally do with women's volleyball, and I get it; they're doing really well. So when the hockey schedule came out, I was a little disappointed because it didn't look any different from any other year to me. And then, so doubleheaders, there's 2. So there's one on January 8th. They said they might get studio support for that. And then there's one on the 19th of February. But I also might end up doing the one other scheduled games that I don't have yet that might happen are in late February, Minnesota, I think. I'm thinking, but that would be that weekend.
That Minnesota-Wisconsin one was never quite figured out, was it, Viggs? Was that the last weekend? I don't think we have TV for that.
Well, there's nothing. I asked about that weekend. This is, I think, the 18-19.
Oh, okay.
Penn State, Minnesota. That one's still kind of, I don't know about. But that one has a doubleheader, so I could possibly be in the studio for that set. So there might be just 2, and then I'm thinking in the playoffs maybe. But yeah, I asked about the 25th and 26th of February, and they said they might have room for 1 or 2 games possibly on BTN because they said they have a ton of basketball and they said gymnastics. Like they're doing more and more, so they're trying to jam so much in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine because you're not going to have anything the next week because that's the first round of the playoffs. It's super annoying how it shakes out, but it's when the college basketball is going on, both the men and the women. Like the women can't even get on most of the time because the men are on Big Ten all day for Thursday and Friday or whatever. So
right now it's just that Saturday game, February 26th against Wisconsin is not on TV. The Friday game is on ESPNU.
Friday, yeah. I'm guessing they're trying to grab that one. That would be my guess. Minnesota, because that could be for the Big Ten title, possibly. My guess is they want that game or they would want Michigan, whoever they're playing, who I don't know. But I think it's Ohio State's year is their turn to have the bye week, the last week.
What a shame.
Of the season. So, no, I mean, it's their turn in the rotation. I think this is year, 4 of it?
Something like that.
So, go through the 7 and then go through them again. And, well, hopefully you won't because they'll be.
Hopefully we won't get Arizona State.
I mean, that's why I asked that. I mean, what do you think? I mean, if next year they demanding to be in a conference and Big Ten doesn't want to lose them to someone else, knowing that they don't know what's happening at the other ones.
See, I don't think
short-term deal.
Because I don't think they'll lose them to anybody else. Unless something weird happens.
What I think should happen is I think Minnesota State and Arizona State should go to the NCHC. I think Western and Miami should go to the CCHA.
Yes.
And I think both of them want to do that too.
Sense. Yeah. That would make too much sense.
Geographically, I mean, it would make the NCHC even tougher. And it would be interesting to see what happens in Minnesota State when they're playing in a conference that has competition.
Yeah, but it's tough to get rid of teams.
Would Ryan McKay still set the NCAA shutout record if he played in a real
don't go there, man.
No, but so wait, what are you saying? They won't. Who would want to leave? You're leaving.
There's no room.
Everybody would think they're upgrading.
Well, no, I don't think there's any room for them because any team that took them, unless Hockey East took them, would be going from an even number to an odd number.
You talking about Arizona State?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. If it's Arizona State,
I think it's Big Ten or NCHC.
I don't think NCHC is going to go to 9 teams.
No,
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying you trade out 2 teams.
Yeah, but the only thing is if you're going to trade out 2 teams,
Minnesota State and Arizona State in.
If you want 2 teams,
put those 2 in the CCHA.
It's going to be you got you got Western and Miami leaving. You have Bemidji and Mankato going to the NCHC.
That would make the most sense.
Because then you've got even the local Minnesota thing even better.
And you balance the teams coming in because Bemidji's not a powerhouse.
Exactly. Because I think if Mankato
where's Bemidji in the CCHA now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're good there. They're a home ice type team every year.
Sure.
If they
you could do that. If the Big Ten did that, if the Big Ten decided to take Arizona State, you could do that. But the NCHC makes sense for Arizona State too when you got Colorado College and Denver. I mean,
yeah, it's just one more flight out for all those other teams, though, and the budgets at those schools can't handle it like Big Ten schools can.
But which ones? Only I would say St. Cloud and Duluth and Minnesota State if they went in there. The other ones, North Dakota, I think they're okay.
North Dakota, Denver, CC, they've got a pretty good bankroll. the rest of the league.
Well, they'd probably have to make some kind of deal. Arizona State was got to feel the pressure. They promised a lot of stuff. Now the rink, they got it, but they promised to be in. These guys did not come to play in an independent school, and they made a lot of promises. So you might have to, if they have the money to fork over an arena, which I know they had helped a little bit, but they might have to offer to pay half or something for travel, or
Could there be more shuffling though, Viggs?
Well, Hockey East needs a 12th team.
Yeah, but no,
or they need to cut down
out
too.
west. I mean, because could you see like a CC, a Denver, and an Air Force getting together with ASU and maybe Omaha? I mean, just things like that.
What about Alaska? What's happening?
I don't know. I'm just trying to think out of the box of what some of those Western teams or more Western teams could do.
If there were like another 2 teams out west to form, then it makes a lot more sense.
Augustana's coming. That's one. I mean,
South Dakota team.
St. Thomas just came in,
South
but
Dakota team.
It's just there's. It would take a lot to do it, but I just think that could be an option. Get the old Great Western Conference going again, or something like that. I don't know.
Well, you're trying to expand out west as it is. I mean, they'd love to get some of those Pac-12 schools to join.
Yeah.
I mean, but
you almost wonder if you could form like a league with those teams where you don't necessarily play a full league schedule, but you have a league for a bid. So maybe you play every team in the league once and you play non-conference against the rest of the country, and your league still gets a bid and you have a conference, but you make your money by playing short, close regional rivals somehow. I mean, that's the only way I could see some of that stuff working.
I could see a whole lot of coaches not liking another bid going somewhere to a team that's playing a league that's playing like half conference game. We're grinding for 26 games and they're playing 12 and they're getting a bid. I'm picturing those meetings in Tampa or in Florida in April that go nowhere, from what I've been told numerous times, that nothing happens.
Pretty bad. You get those West versus East coaches and they cannot agree on anything.
No, because the East loves the fact that they have 6 schools around them that are within 20 minutes of each other.
Yeah.
And that the Midwest, regional is in Allentown.
Yeah. Well, you ask people in Pennsylvania, like, we're not the Midwest, we're not the East.
No, well, that's why they dropped those. It's just the Allentown regional now. They finally got smart, but
I don't know. Nobody shows up to those anyway. Just put it where.
Oh boy, that's another whole.
You got 4 cities that rotate every other year. 4 towns. It's the same 4 I could tell you every time: Manchester, Providence, Bridgeport, Worcester. That's about it. Those 4 in those crappy AHL rinks that the ice is terrible in. Don't get me started. That's why we didn't score a goal in 2 years in a regional.
And then you've got North Dakota bidding every year on either Sioux Falls or Fargo.
That's
with
fine.
A couple temporary bumps into Loveland.
It's not. That's kind of cool. It's not at the home rink, so
true. I mean, I wish we didn't have COVID last year. I think Loveland would have been a fun trip to take.
Yeah, I've heard good things about that trip. So,
yep. I don't know if Green Bay is okay. I mean, they got a nice rink from what I've heard. Toledo might be maybe Toledo would be a good spot. They've got a really.
I feel
nice
like they've tried some
there.
Ohio buildings in the past, and it hasn't done anything.
Well, the only thing I would say Toledo is you're close to Detroit. It's a quick bump. Like if Michigan's there, you're down. If Ohio State or Bowling Green are in it, and it's a city, and they like hockey there. I don't know. I'm just trying to find some different places. Try to be creative a little bit.
I always think it should be best of 3, high seed, 1 through 8. If you get a top 8 seed, you get a home 3-game series.
Oh,
it would be. How awesome would it be to have?
Oh, it'd be great.
Some game 3s on ESPN on Sunday. Because with streaming now,
8, but only 8 teams make it.
No, 16 teams make it. The top 8 teams all get to host at their own rink. for a weekend.
Oh, okay.
Best of
So
3.
you'd have everyone playing Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
I'd probably
games
spread
going on.
it, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So somebody
Which is going to happen this year anyway.
So somebody would go Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Well, they're doing
Some
the
would
day
go
off.
Friday,
Yeah,
Saturday,
they're doing
Sunday.
the day off thing.
And
But
we
this
don't
would
know
be no day off because you're playing the same
because
team.
you're playing the 3.
Yeah,
and
that's
3.
same
different.
weekend.
Right.
So you stretch it out a little bit. So your Friday and Saturdays
Right.
are awesome.
Yeah.
You've got 8 games going on both nights. I
don't hate it. It would be fun, and maybe you get more people. But then also, there's always right around spring break. Hopefully, it's not. It's a little later, but
you would get
something.
home
It's just
fans.
things die in March.
You would get home fans for that.
Oh,
I mean, how awesome would it be for some of
you
the
would do
small
better.
schools? Like some of the small schools, if they got to host a big school.
Right. Now, are the conference champions getting seated high then?
Same deal as pairwise.
Same pairwise? Oh man, that's gonna make for some that number 8-9 spot.
I
is
know.
gonna be a battle. Oh my God.
It'd be so much fun though, and as much as like some of the people in Hockey East are bitching about the pairwise, being it is, everybody knows the rules.
Right.
I hate Dave Portnoy, but he's got the one bite. Everybody knows the rules. It's like pairwise. Everybody knows the rules. This is what you signed up for.
That's true.
You know what you need to do coming down the stretch. One win, you go here. One loss, you go there. You know what you have to do.
Don't go to overtime and win. You got to win in regulation.
Right.
Because that counts too, right?
Yeah.
Off topic, but I see the women's got expanded to 11 teams this year.
Oh, really?
I don't think wasn't that just
How does
today?
that work? 11?
Is it 11?
How does 11
It is 11. 11 gets them to the exact same percentage as men. Check that out, Viggs. I heard it earlier.
Is that why it's the
number? But the thing is, right now the women's
tournament
tournament is not great because
they're
so worried about travel, or they were so worried about travel. Some teams didn't get to go. I mean, you look at Minnesota last year. What were they? The 7th ranked team last year, Viggs?
Well, last year they went away from all their stuff that they'd done before, and it was total smoky room, and they didn't explain themselves very well. It was bad last year.
Well, it's going to be interesting now when Ohio State is hosting a NCAA tournament game in the little practice rink. Maybe they'll bump that one into the main rink. I doubt it, though, because I'm sure there's a wrestling tournament in there.
Ohio State got good when they took the Minnesota coach.
Oh, yes, I know everything is in Minnesota. I'm fully aware of that. But no, she's
really
done.
good.
Oh
And that was a huge loss for Minnesota.
Well, I mean, how do you keep her? Like, she wants to be a head coach, right?
Exactly.
Obviously.
Exactly.
But I remember being on a conference call for her before the Frozen Four, because we were doing a couple of Big Ten Frozen Fours. Big Ten Network was, airing them. And I was just thinking, like, I didn't know her much. I just knew her name, and I'm like, wow, she sounds like she knows what she's doing. And they're in the Frozen Four, and I'm like, this is not going to get worse. This is only going to get better. And now they've to an extent taken Minnesota's spot. It's like Minnesota, you should see just Minnesota, Wisconsin. And Wisconsin's still the best team. And that's another weird thing is their dominance is like UConn basketball women thing. It's like almost boring because all they do is win every year. And it makes it boring for everyone,
and it's low scoring stuff too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think they're a high powered
2-1.
team. Yeah. My favorite thing
they
about
get a transfer goalie or something again.
Yeah.
It's like they get whatever they want.
My favorite Ohio State women's hockey story is when they had the black jerseys, like with the black numbers, and they came to Ritter, and the refs are like, if you wear those, it's going to be a penalty. She's like, we are wearing them. And so her team wore them and took the penalty to start the game and won.
When was it? How long ago was this?
It was a couple of years ago.
Not that long ago, though. Like
no, but not that long
Nadine,
ago.
Was she the coach?
Mm-hmm.
Was it Nadine? Okay.
Yeah.
I love that.
She had these special third alternate black jerseys, and the numbers didn't match the NCAA stuff, and they wanted to wear them for that game.
Yeah, more wasted money instead of building a rink.
Well, you don't have to buy hockey
fancy
sticks.
Jerseys.
You don't have to buy as many hockey sticks as the men.
I mean, give me a break. It's it's been interesting to hear some of the stories about the women travel better than the men in hockey. And it's a total Title IX thing. Or not, I don't know if Title IX, but they have to spend more money or whatever it is. And I just was like, wow, that's pretty amazing.
Well, you look at the stick budget for the men versus the women. Like the men's stick budget's like 4 times as much because they break tons of sticks. Sure. And so to equal it out, the women get new jerseys every year. They get other stuff,
Yeah, I didn't even want to go down that my friend's an assistant coach, so I want to ask, but then I don't want to know the answer or why, because it's just frustrating. And I'm they battle for that stuff. Everywhere battling for more all the time, right? But that rink thing we talked about. Oh my god.
Well, the rink thing is just absolutely ridiculous at Ohio State. Like for both teams.
Yes.
For both teams, it's ridiculous.
You can't have that team, that women's team is somewhat of a machine now. Like they play St. Cloud and they play and you look 7-2, 5-1. It's not even close. And then Wisconsin and Minnesota, and
that's their season.
Like this, they're playing in a freaking little mite hockey rink. Same rink I practiced in. They made little renovations to it, but I'm like, this team might win a national championship with that rink.
Yeah.
It's and look at the men's team's done pretty well.
It's all about money. It's all about money.
Ohio State has tons of money.
Ohio State doesn't have.
Well, no, I know they have tons of money, but Minnesota has tons of money too. They had a lot of money coming into
Minnesota does not have tons of money.
The hockey program was making them a shit ton of money for a long time.
They are $170 million in debt.
They are now. What I'm saying,
they're $210 million in debt. Actually,
over the
Where
years,
are those endowments in the billions.
I know.
Endowments can't be used for this stuff.
Yeah, they can't.
But you think it would have in a pandemic? Isn't that partially the reason why they're there? Is like emergencies a little?
Nope, they're not. They're there to.
What is it there? Just to gain interest?
It's there, to gain interest and sustain programs. It's not there
They could have used the interest. If there's $1 billion in there, they could have used the interest off of 2 years.
It's already
pay for
accounted
a lot
for.
Of things.
They've already set aside
what
it pays for. That's what the endowment's there for. It's there to pay for specific things, and then revenues pay for other things.
No, all I'm saying, Viggs, is that let's say in the early 2000s to the mid 2000s, the hockey team was clearing $4 to $5 million somewhere. Yeah. They don't need more, but they were. But obviously that goes into a general fund, so it's not like they could just take that and reinvest.
Well, it goes into athletics.
Yes,
it goes into the athletics budget. The athletics has their own budget. It's not going to pay for lab frogs. And,
and then Norwood Teague comes in and says, "We have 3 sports that make money. I thought it was only basketball and football." And then he's like, "Well, let's try to make more money."
Yeah.
And that's how the story ended.
Why that ticket prices go up and all that stuff.
Reseating the arena, forcing donations for those same seats. These can tell you, they were sitting next to people for 20 years, something like that. And then all of a sudden you're not next to those fans anymore. It was a whole cluster, and
it just rubbed people. It rubbed people the wrong way. And hockey fans, they can hold a grudge. So
I think any sport honestly would do that, but I just don't think there's nothing like hockey.
Nothing like hockey fans, that's for sure. As we've learned.
Yeah, you're Wilder 5-2 right now against Arizona.
Yeah, I saw that.
TNT, man, prime time.
Some people were posting on it in the chat. Excuse me.
Have you guys had a game on there yet that has not been televised because it's on ESPN Plus and Hulu or something only?
The first game was ESPN Plus, Hulu only.
The Blackhawks have that on Friday, and I don't think anyone's going to miss it because they're playing they're playing home against Arizona, and it's a ESPN Plus Hulu game. I'm like, what the hell are they doing? Okay,
I think did that coincide with the Gopher game, Figs? Because I swear we went out to the bar that night and we were oh no, the game's on Hulu. We can't watch the game at the bar. I know that happened one time already this year.
Yeah.
I mean, the ESPN Plus deal is really good. Like, instead of I would get that over getting the NHL package now because you're paying $6 a month, I think. and you can watch it on your phone or your computer, and you get almost all games.
And I have a VPN thing on my stuff. I can get any game, like home wild games, no problem. So it's really nice.
I just
that way.
Yeah, but if you were like, okay, am I gonna get the, what do they call it? NHL package. It's what, $150 maybe, but you got to watch it at home. You can't, like, you're in a hotel room. You got ESPN Plus. You could watch on your phone or your iPad, and it's $6 a month. So what, $36 for the year?
Yeah, it's pretty cheap.
But this whole thing with that's interesting how they're doing the ESPN Plus thing and taking the rights to, from those other networks. But it's slowly turning to where there won't be cable anymore, I don't think. Oh, NHL package on DC, $55. Well, see, that's what they're looking. Oh boy!
And the thing is, a lot of these things you can log in, on the computer and watch programming from like DirecTV.
Right, yeah, it's changing, but
yeah, it is changing.
Right, because they gotta keep up with. If you can get the ESPN package for $36 a year, who in their right mind would want to pay $160 and they can't watch it from their hotel room or whatever their car? If they're sitting in traffic, can throw on the game on your
just what
iPad.
You want.
Well,
I have to step out for a minute. I'll be right back.
Oh, there goes Viggs. Look at that. He just hid himself. We didn't need him anyway.
Guy's a bum anyway. You guys are bad mouth. What did Frank talk about when I?
Oh no, Frank's just like, when you had your phone issue. Luggage right at the end of the show. He's like, he didn't pay his cell bill, or his cell coverage is not there. I'm like,
probably not. I'm surprised it works. I don't even have Wi-Fi here.
It's been
like
pretty
going off
smooth.
I've been going off of my my digital. When I'm down here, we don't have Wi-Fi.
Yeah, all the phone things are like unlimited now. So it's like,
oh, for sure.
So it doesn't really matter as much.
It just slows everything down a little. So I was just worried about that.
No, you were pretty good. Whereas Frank's home internet, he was frozen for a good 2 minutes.
Yeah, that was funny. Frank.
Yeah, but I love this new setup here with this video, and we can do screen stuff and get your name up there. The software's working pretty good.
Hey man, you're getting more professional. Like, in 10
we're
years,
trying.
You're gonna be having some players come on for a quick hit here.
Well, we had Shearhorn on a couple weeks ago.
No, I mean like
yeah. I don't think Deutsch. Deutsch would not let us do that. I just know he'd be like, no, you ain't doing that.
Or he'll let you do like a pre-tape thing or something, and then you'll air it or something like that. Maybe that could happen.
Deutsch, you watching live?
Deutsch, come on.
Can we get Jack LaFontaine on a live show where he can throw me under the bus?
Deutsch,
LaFontaine can throw me under the bus. He can throw me under the bus for calling Mo leaving for Wisconsin. I called him Trader Mo.
Oh, I know. I remember that. That was funny.
And
come on, Deutsch. Think outside the box, Deutsch. We're not going to do anything bad here. It's friendly fire. So why are your numbers not like they were last year? That was your first question. No, I'm joking.
And the thing is, he would love it. He would just love it. There's Vigo. He's back now. There he is. Yeah, we were saying, Viggs, that he thinks we need to up our game and have current players on. And I told him we can have Jack LaFontaine on, and he could throw me under the bus for calling Jared Moe Trader Mo.
He could.
That would be some great podcasting television right there.
It would be good, especially the overtime. The overtime would be great.
Oh.
So what
he probably has. He has. Oh, I wonder if he's got class anymore.
Is he Jack?
Yeah, is he?
Yeah, he's got class with Paul.
Well, I know you have class, but you can have minimal when you're kind of that graduate type.
Yeah, he's got Monday night class with Paul Martin. They're both doing a social work.
He knows who Paul Martin is.
He actually does.
Nice.
He and a couple others. Yeah, we were gonna get to this. I guess.
So, is Jack graduated?
Yep.
Okay.
So he's working in a master's of social work and youth development.
I mean, that's great. Like, I remember my roommate had an injury, so he was a red shirt. He had a medical red shirt year, and so his fifth year he was graduated. He wanted to be a teacher. He's like 8th grade biology teacher. He didn't even go to school. He was doing the grad program where the first half of the year he was a TA. The second half of the year he was teaching a class.
Wow.
And so he got his grad school paid for free, obviously too. So why not, if you really want to, grad school, you can go to grad school for free right now if you're doing a fifth year, because hey, once you're out of college and you're not on that scholarship anymore, you got to pay for that stuff if you want to go to grad school. It's a whole new world when you're paying.
You didn't get to go to grad school for broadcasting, Cappy?
I could have graduated. I graduated my senior year. So I did my last year junior, so I was an overager. I went to school full time. To be eligible to play in the playoffs, you had to go to college. I didn't know I could have just done it the second half of the year. I would have just done that. But I did. I took full. I started my clock my last year junior. I was a full-time college student in Omaha. And so when I got to Ohio State, I was like almost a sophomore. And so I was able to kind of coast a little bit and not have a schedule heavy load. And then my senior year, after Christmas, I had one class, and I could have. I mean, I had to spread it out almost a little because I was doing some summer school classes too. Because why wouldn't you? Because you got your scholarship check, and you did camps, and that was how you made money. And you trained and played golf. That was pretty much it. So after Christmas. My senior year, I had one class. It was Theater 101. I had one general class left. That's all I had.
Theater 101.
Actually, it was hard because,
probably
you still have to you have to memorize all that stuff for stuff you're not interested in at all. You still gotta take exams and stuff on stuff you're just trying to get through.
A lot of 101 classes are not what you think. I remember taking Astronomy 101, and a lot of people thought astronomy. It's the stars. It's the constellations. Yeah, that's like the first chapter. Then it gets into really hard stuff, and people are like, "Yeah, I'm dropping this class."
Yeah, you just got to memorize a lot of things that you don't know what they are, and it's all that, and it's uninteresting maybe to you, so you're not going to be as into it to remember it. So yeah,
Viggs, tell about Paul Martin's story.
Yeah,
what's happened?
Yeah, so Paul is like a graduate coach again this year.
Is he okay? So last year he was too.
Last year he was.
Michelle during the tournament was getting all her info from him during the games, her insight. But yeah, come on.
Paul's a pretty vocal guy, which is actually surprising and quite casual with it. But anyway, so he graduated, and I think he's still trying to figure out what he wants to do. He was going through some stuff that he opened up to the Star Tribune for a big article about, some substance challenges, some mental health challenges that he's going through. And so I think for him, being around the program was really a grounding thing for him. And so once he graduated, it was like, okay, now what? What do I do next? And I think he got encouraged to maybe pursue a master's degree at the U. And so he's doing this social work youth development program. And Bob was like, yeah, I want Paul Martin helping out this Blue Line Corps that's really talented. And so he's been around, I think, a little bit more than he was last year. Last year, he was just kind of feeling things out. But now he's at practice, running drills, pulling guys aside, doing video, doing all the coaching stuff. And so after one of the practices, one of the guys was like, oh, this Paul, he kind of knows what he's talking about. And it's like, did he play in the NHL? And I haven't heard yet.
Freshman though?
No, but I think it's got to be. I think it's got to be Jackson Lacombe. Wow. No, Faber knows. I think it's got to be Jackson Lacombe, or maybe.
Minnesota guy?
Well, I don't know. Jackson's kind of a free spirit.
Okay. Aloof guy.
He's a little aloof guy.
Okay.
Or maybe it could be Ryan Johnson, just because he's a Cali guy and he hasn't been around it. But I think it's one of those two. But I haven't gotten anybody to really
Though Paul did play in San Jose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For a while.
He's probably a Southern Cali guy, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. That's where his dad was.
So
wow.
I mean,
how long has he been on the NHL? 4 years? 5?
Yeah, 4 years.
Not that long.
Not very long. Not very long.
Well,
and Jack Burbix is like, I basically knew him before I could talk. He's like, because he's from Elk River, just like Paul.
Right.
He's just like, I know who he is. So.
Yeah, that's where a guy like that would probably come and smack him in the head for asking that or saying that.
Yes. Jack's kind of a physical guy.
Completely offended. We would just like shake our heads, but a guy like him would probably get completely offended by that.
Yeah, it's like you got pucks and bags all week.
Life. Yeah, for the rest of your life, you'll always be that guy to me. But anyway,
all right, guys, it's getting late.
I was just gonna say it's almost 1 o'clock.
Well, yeah.
Pulled out my piezo.
Oh, jeez.
What is that?
It's bourbon.
Oh, no, okay.
Mayor Pingree.
He gave me last year or 2 years ago. He gave me his old Titleist driver because mine was so bad. And I'm like, I need a new one, but I don't want to drop $500 on it. He's like, oh, I just got a new one, and he got a new one for free or something from his Golf Pro at one of the clubs. That guy. I mean, I love him, but
he's super connected.
He's got some really nice hookups. Yes.
Yeah.
And he gave me his old one. I'm like, okay, I at least got to get you something. He's like, don't worry about it. So I got him like a bottle of Knob Creek or something. He's like, oh, I've never had that because he's a big bourbon guy. Knob Creek's not any fancy, but he never had it.
Not fancy enough for him.
No, it's fancy. He said he drank half of it in one night.
Oh, jeez.
Oh yeah, he's a big guy.
He gave up on Twitter though. He shut Twitter down.
Yeah, he did. I don't know.
He took a summer break and then he's like, you know what? I don't really need it anymore, so he shut it down.
It's interesting because I mean, I guess I think he could have became like a national guy, like big time.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's got that talent, and for the fact that he can do hockey and pretty much anything.
Yeah.
But I think he's just kind of found a really nice. He likes his family. They live in the north suburbs of Chicago. Makes pretty good money doing what he does. Not, he'd probably make more, but then he'd have to move to Connecticut or wherever, whatever.
Yep.
And I think he's found a nice spot, and I don't think they know how valuable he is to them. So I think he's very happy with what he's got going on. And
I see that he gets that Cush Northwestern sideline gig for BTN games.
He's the number one sideline guy, so he goes wherever they go. So
okay,
he got Northwestern. He said it was the first time in 4 years or something.
Oh, really? Okay, because he did Minnesota
he goes wherever.
Yeah.
He goes wherever the number one. He's with the number one crew. I think it's Laurinaitis and I can't remember who the play-by-play guy is.
I don't remember.
Forget it. Anyway, but they go wherever the big BTN game is, which can get a little tough because I know this week, Ohio State Purdue is on ABC. I think Michigan or Michigan State, whoever they're playing, is on ABC, and I'm sure something else.
Is Iowa, Minnesota?
It could be
Iowa, Minnesota on BTN this week.
It could be. It's on Big Ten. Okay, well so he might be in if it's in Minneapolis.
He's in Iowa City.
He'll be there.
Yeah, Iowa City.
Oh, okay. Well, he'll probably be there, but yeah. I mean, then he'll just be in.
But you can let him know we're still gonna blame him when there's TV problems, even though he's not on Twitter anymore.
Oh, he'll love that. He'll love that. Oh no, well now these games. I mean, have they been doing 12-minute intermissions for your guys' games?
Yeah, they're fast. Love them.
Dude, these games. I'm telling you, these games can end if you get a real fast one under 2 hours. You can get an under 2 hour game.
Easy under 2 hours.
I'm talking a TV game though.
If you drop the
doesn't
puck,
really matter that much.
If you drop the puck before 7:05, you're easily going to be done by 9. Like the way they're doing timeouts and stuff.
That's true because
but that hurts.
You have one TV timeout.
Yeah, but doesn't that hurt the money?
No, they
You're not selling as much advertising.
They get all the commercials in the breaks.
I know, but it's
6 to 9 minutes of commercials during the break.
I don't think they're making
3 commercial breaks.
Hockey either.
Well, that's true too.
So sorry.
I'm starting to lose my AirPods are running out of.
All right, we got to go to bed anyway.
We got to go. That's right.
Thanks, Cappy.
Yeah, man.
Cheers.
We'll get you
I'll
on
see
again
y'all.
later this season, of course, when we
Yeah.
play Ohio State again. Oh, look, there's Viggs
right.
and his big drink.
See you in February. I think it's February, and I'll be doing.
Hopefully
those games, so that'll be fun.
Hopefully they'll fly you out for some games.
We'll see.
At least send you home.
I mean, yeah, I'm glad I'm doing them, and then it kind of keeps me flexible for Blackhawks stuff, to be honest. Like, because those are gonna maybe pop up in the second half. They called me Tuesday morning to do the game, but I was already in Florida. I'm like, oh man, I'm already out of town because the girl, Kaylee Chelios, Chris Chelios' daughter, is doing some games, and she had strep throat or something. All of a sudden, he's like, "Can you get?" I'm like, oh man, I'm out of town. So it's kind of like that a little bit as the season goes on, but I'm not gonna complain.
Good gig.
Hey, you know.
All right,
Find a
thanks,
way to get in
guys.
there.
We're done. We got to go to bed.
Thank you, man. Hey, that sounds like my dad. Like, hey, it's time to go.
Hey.
Got to go to bed. I still got to put the podcast up on, post it, and all that good stuff. So.
Do it. Okay.
Thanks for your hard
Do
work.
it in the morning.
Thanks,
when everyone's
kid.
Looking. All right.
See you guys.
Also, 200. Congrats, guys.
Appreciate it.
Glad to be a part of it.